earlier, and the chatbot asked a question to Deathless, and Deathless was like, "That's not an technically valid question."
I watched that.
That shit was so funny. He's just debating a fucking AI.
Deathless is like mentally ill. Like, swear he needs help.
I
Like,
think he just has like.
Yo, Coco,
Yo.
are you using a stream key?
I just like connected my
TikTok?
I just connected my YouTube account, but like basically like I
Oh, it's a TikTok Studio or
yes
Streamlab.
or Streamlabs. So basically I go live on TikTok Studio and then I just screen capture that with OBS and then shoot it off to like other platforms.
Okay, cool. I was like, don't use the stream key. Don't use the stream key. That will kill your lives. You will get nobody coming in here. Don't use the stream key.
Yeah. I got
Really?
That's my only one piece of advice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, TikTok wants you to host your lives on the platform, right? They want you to host it on TikTok.
I get what you're
so
saying.
if you use a stream key, it takes it away from there. And they
The stream
want
key's
that
like
for
it, like-
larger creators, right? Like if you have like, if you're fucking Don Lemon streaming on TikTok, yeah, use your stream key. Like they want you, bro,
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
stream keys, what they like? You put it in here, and then so like you'll host it on Twitch, and then it sends it over here.
Yeah. But to get a stream key on TikTok, you have to like be hooked up with an agency, and then
That'd be the
and then
real
you
deal.
like. I mean, anybody could get an agency. Like, I think all you need is like 1,000 followers. Then you can get it. So, and there's all these agencies that will just like you can just hook up with an agency for free, right? They don't even require anything. But either way, you need an agency, and then you can get a stream key, and then, but even the agency will be like, don't use the stream key. But basically, yeah, you plug in that stream key to your streaming software like Streamlabs or OBS, and then we'll shoot it out everywhere. But YouTube is like, here's your stream key for free. Do whatever you want. Just include us, please. And Twitch is the same. So like, yeah. Why aren't you on Twitch, Coco?
Twitch is hard to grow on, but like actually I know how to grow.
But you're already live.
Yeah, like I know how to grow on Twitch, but like I need to download like an extension to OBS to like multi-stream. So right now I'm live on TikTok and YouTube, and then I need to download the extension and I can add Twitch. And also, I think people are getting followers on Twitch because they just post content on TikTok and say, follow my Twitch. And then, like, they just move everybody over to Twitch.
Maybe.
So that's how they're
It's hard to get people off the app that they found you on because they're always going to go back to the app that they found you on. They're not going to ever really engage on a new app unless they found you there,
Yeah, like, people don't, like, switch apps, basically. Like, and yeah, it's been a struggle. Like, cause
I mean, whenever I see like TikTok people on Instagram, I'm like, oh shit, you're over here too? Oh man, I had no idea. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, in the past, I've tried to tell people to like find me on these other apps, but they don't follow me to the other apps. So yeah, people like to stay on the app that they found you. But yeah, it be what it be. I'm gonna go back to like hosting debate events. So if anyone wants to debate, if anyone wants to be a judge, let me know. Mitch the scientist, I see you in the comments. If you want to, well, he hasn't commented anything, but if you want to be a judge or if you want to debate somebody on science, that'd be awesome. There are some people who are like denying abiogenesis right now. So
I deny it.
So if you want to debate them, if you want to debate board agnostic on abiogenesis, hey, hit me up.
I'll squash you, bitch.
No, bro, that's
But any
I'm
topic.
just kidding. I love Mitch. Mitch is great.
Mitch is great.
Yeah.
But
yeah, man. Okay, that's the only input that I had is just don't use the stream key.
Hell yeah.
I know you're trying to grow your platform. Just don't ever use it. Even if you have access to the TikTok stream key, don't use it.
Bet. Okay, I will not be using a stream key.
Yeah, and obviously you're already live. Like, might as well push it out to Twitch and stuff too.
Yeah.
Push it out to everything. Shit, fuck it. Do it on Kick. Like, who cares?
Bro,
Whatever,
Kick, like...
Who's on Kick debating, bro?
Yeah, who's on Kick debating?
There probably are debaters on Kick, but they're all incels.
Yeah.
Probably.
There's insults on fucking TikTok, bro. We talk to
Yeah,
them
but
every day.
Kick is like... But it's like probably a lot more on Kick, because I feel like that's where they, like, all the manosphere people exist on that platform, so I feel like they're definitely, like... using like.
You should debate that, Coco. You should be like,
Debate
is
the
there
red
such
pill?
thing as toxic, masculinity?
I mean, to be
There's
honest,
no
like,
way to-
I'd be down.
Throw that up there and debate and stream it to Kick. That's
Those
something
people are
crazy.
impossible to debate though. It's just like wah. Oh no, I'm lonely. I get no bitches. Like it's all their fault, not mine. Like that's literally how they exist. That's like their perspective is that they have nothing to do with the fact that they don't have like human connection. No, it's because you're fucking
You know what
idiots.
that sounds like to me? A lack of accountability. And you know what lack of accountability sounds like to me?
Hmm.
Christianity, brother.
I swear.
Christianity.
Well,
I mean, I was gonna say immaturity, but
All right, the Venn diagram's a circle.
I'm telling you though, bro. Like, jeez, bro.
hell
It's true.
yeah.
It's true. All right, y'all. Have a good day. I'm out of here.
Hell
Later,
yeah.
y'all.
I'm gonna join.
Bye.
I'm gonna join your stream whenever I'm free. Your streams be lit. Like
Yeah,
I
you're more
actually
than
like your streams.
It's chill. It's chill sometimes.
It's
I saw,
funny.
bro. I saw came in there yesterday when we were wilding out. Okay, everybody was in a fuck ass mood yesterday, and then ISO came in
everyone was
there hella
salty.
chill, bro. We were already all pissed off. We had crashed out like 5 or 6 times throughout the whole live, and then ISO comes in there like super chill, trying to have a genuine conversation. We chewed your head off, bro, for no reason. For no reason, bro. I'm sorry about that. You were chill, and you didn't deserve that, bro.
It's
my
alright.
bad, my bad. My bad as I was. But yeah, that shit was crazy. Anyways, all right, later, y'all. Have a good day.
Hell yeah. We'll be
Deuces.
around. Shoot, I'm thinking I might play a video game. I might play Pal World while I'm waiting. I'm also gonna grab my notes. There's some stuff I need to do.
I'm gonna get Arma, bro. I want to get
So the
Arma.
argument's gonna be very simple.
Damn.
All right.
Oh my. Here comes the LARP.
The LARP.
Quick little question, guys. Look.
LARP
shit, I
alert.
almost just slipped. Look. Say we have a coin, ISO, okay? Say we have a coin. And heads, you exist. And tails, 10 people exist. What's the likelihood of it, or what would be more likely, it being heads or it being tails, given that you exist?
How do you metaphysically define a coin?
I'm gonna ignore that one.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, well, that's a dodge. Runner. Whew!
Oh, wait, he's back.
Wowzer. True runner.
My bad. Sorry, bro. Like something happened to my app. What's the question again? Or what?
It's too nervous to track. Look, the question is just, oh my god.
Bro, we're talking about nervousness.
All right, the question is not like dogs.
Your
The
dog's
question
nervous.
is just like, imagine that we have a coin and heads, you exist. Tails, you and 9 other people exist, so 10 people total. Right? Now, given that you're in a room by yourself and you have no idea who else is outside this room, right? So the only fact you know is that you exist. What side did the coin most likely land on?
That only I exist, bro.
What? Why?
I'm a solipsist. I mean, I definitely know I exist, but what about y'all?
Oh
Like,
my god, this fucking guy.
Solipsism.
Yo, I mean,
W.
Solipsism.
I mean, I know for some measurable fact that I exist, but I mean, by y'all, I don't know. But y'all might be bots, bro.
Yeah, this guy. You think solipsism is a response? Look, even say solipsism is true, right? Let's just say that the other people are just seem people, and by seem people, I just mean people that, or things that seem to be other people. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, which side do you think is more likely?
They just what? Oh, I don't give a fuck about seemings, bro.
Oh my god, this guy.
Why would I
This-
take seemings as reasons to increase the freedom?
You don't think seemings are reasons at all? That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. I think seemings are just emotions. Bro. That's why they're so generous, because in reality they're just emotions.
Not thinking other people exist is crazy. I say.
Bro, fucking with people.
Like it's not. It's you don't think it's morally wrong for me to go slap my mom?
Well, it would be morally wrong because given the epistemic facts you have.
Wait, but she's not a person.
No. But given the epistemic facts that you have, they give you reasons to not do that. So it would be
What
you're
epistemic
asking,
facts?
uh, um, your relationship to your mom, your feelings that you have
what
to your
am I
mom.
in
Do you love your
relation
mom?
to?
You're in relation to some representation of your mental phenomena.
I'm in
which you
relation
can't-
to a representation.
Mhm.
It's not a real. Is that like some actual relation? Like, what's the difference between that and being in relation to another object that isn't a representation?
There is none. I mean, you're always in, at least in terms of your.
An idealist?
Yeah, of course.
An idealist? Oh God, Jesus! I couldn't get even worse.
I
thought
am
it
an
couldn't get
idealist. But I'm
worse.
totally, wait, hold on. I'm obviously trolling about how I'm answering these questions, but I am an idealist, and so, I mean, besides this, like, I'm trolling besides the idealism, at least non-substance idealism, like some maybe neo-Kantian form.
What's up, Kyra?
What?
I see you in the comments.
This is a question that I have about idealism. All seriousness, not joking. What sort of facts explain the facts that explain the fact that there exists a mind? Like what explains your existence under idealism?
Well,
Is it like some form of necessity or something? This tastes really fucking good, Jesus. Sorry, I'm making soup right now.
well, they would say that the mental facts are the fundamental facts, right? So it does not ultimately need an explanation in terms of something non-mental, right? Like the other facts might explain why this particular mind exists in this particular fashion, but yeah, it would be like asking almost, especially like non-substance idealists, because I think that it would be mostly from some transcendental perspective, which is what I usually say. It's just
So you think that
there are certain conditions for cognition that necessarily have to be.
so you think your mind is necessary?
No, not necessarily. I think not mind here. I'm talking about the structure of cognition is something that is necessary, right? That's what I'm saying.
Wait, really quick.
But cognition can only come about with a mind. I don't know what it means for something to have cognition and it not be a mind.
Wait, hold on. Is there any chance we could pause this and then let's talk about something different? So, okay. So,
Or do you have an answer to my question, Coco?
no. So okay. So I'm gonna start hosting professional formal debates again, right? And so I have different debate formats. So for like a short format, I have one that's like 40 minutes. That one is okay, right? But then let's say that somebody wants like a 1 hour debate. So like, let me ask you guys, like, how long do you think like their openers should be, right? Like, I want to say I could give them 8 minutes. Is that like too long?
No, that's what? No more than like 5 minutes.
Okay, make it like 5 minutes. And then let's say they have a rebuttal period. How long should that be? 5 minutes?
Debates that long are typically like very short openers, and then a very long cross section, in which half of that cross section, or a very long period of conversation in which half of that period is divided, so that one person can have, can be like on the offensive, and then the other period would be the other person on the offensive.
Okay.
And then the closings are typically longer than the opening statements, because they have to talk about their opening statement and what they talked about in the talking period. So I suggest just doing like 5-minute openings for each people, or for both people, and then like 45-minute in between period, split equally in between two people.
Okay, that actually helped me. I've changed the format. Okay, go ahead. You guys can go ahead.
Yeah, like what was the question you were asking me exactly? If you found if minds were fundamental? Because the entire
said the structure for cognition
Yeah,
is
it's
fundamental.
yeah, but this is not. We're not talking about substance here, right? It's like post Copernican turn, so it's gonna be asking a separate question.
right? Like, are you familiar with what the that turn is saying? Sort of what Kant sort of draws on from that,
What was the? Sorry, what was the question?
the Copernican turn.
No, I'm not familiar with any sort of idealism.
Okay, yeah. So, Kant isn't asking what exists like as objects, right? He's more so asking what must the mind contribute for anything to count as an object of experience for us at all. Sort of what things regulate intelligibility. And so he takes that certain things are forms of intuition, right, which we apply to our So you how to explain this? You do not first completely find something, as unstructured sensory data, and then discover space and time as some external object. Rather, those sensory appearances are given to you spatially and temporally because space and time structure how you receive those appearances. Right. So, like, to him, roughly, things it's sort of like experience. Like, an experience of an object occurs, right, which is given to you as a form of sensibility. An experience of objects requires a unified sort of structured cognition, and this is where you get conceptual structures from intuition, right, which are necessary for you to be able to understand what you're.
Okay, but that would be necessary for epistemic thing, like understanding things and like you said, cognition.
Yeah. And then he would agree to something called a noumena, right, which is essentially that outside of these structures.
I'm familiar with the distinction. I've read Kant up until the first couple of chapters. After he makes the distinction and when he starts talking about, or no, that's a different person that I'm thinking of. That also talks about. I'm thinking of Schopenhauer. He also talks about Kant. Sorry. But I'm familiar with the distinction of the phenomenon and noumena.
But the physical question is new, right? So it wouldn't be. I would just be agreeing that for experience to occur, certain structures must be in place. Right. And then there's different readings of Kant. You get further along. I mean, obviously the German idealists, they're not reading Kant, but they are extrapolating from Kant and getting to very wide. But there's people who still follow this type of understanding, right? As opposed to the substance idealists who think and posit all this other stuff. No, I agree that there's more so something about an object under the conditions of our intelligibility, and then an object outside the conditions which we just have no epistemic access to, right? Because obviously.
But my question isn't about what explains the fact that we can understand things. It's what explains the existence of a mind under idealism.
What explains under this form of the transcendental idealism?
If you're a transcendental idealist, then sure.
Okay.
Because my conception of idealism is that, the nitty gritty of what I'm trying to get to, given the conception I have, is one of the commitments is not specifically this, but something around this line. It's all facts. Right? Like when I eat a burger, right? I'm not. That's a mental thing happening. It's not that I'm actually experiencing a burger, void of me. Mm-hmm. The burger is some way of or form of some mental construct that I'm experiencing. I'm not in relation to anything outside of myself.
For Kant, that's not the case. You're given something, right? There's something external to you that's given to you for your sensibility to work and for you to apply intuition to it. And then insofar as the mind, the existence of a mind, he would agree that the mind exists. But insofar as we can infer from that fact, it's just that we have to have something called transcendental apperception. Right, that in a mind or something, a cognizing subject is a necessary condition for there to be experience. It's transcendental, right? It's a necessity relative to cognition, and then that's sort of that's all he would be committed to saying as far as that goes. And then anything we could say about why the mind exists would be just speculation. I mean,
just speculation. So you can't like have like you can't.
No.
There hasn't been like some big agreement with idealists. It's like so like a physicalist would be, well, what explains my mind is the physical facts, right? That I could, if they were different, I would be different. If there were no physical facts, then I would not exist. Or like the dualist wants to, hold on.
But hey,
And like the dualist would say like me, what explains my mind is like my soul, right? Or my ego. And that's like what I am, right? And that emerges from certain physical facts or whatever they want to say, right? Maybe they're not an emergentist. But the idealists, to me, they don't think your mind's dependent on an ego or soul, nor do they think your mind's dependent on physical facts. They want to say that what you think physical facts are actually dependent on.
Substance idealist and what Kant's project and the project of like the Hegelians and they're very different. I mean, at least in terms of the scope and in terms of what they're trying to say, right? And so insofar as it's concerned with what Kant's trying to answer, right, which is just what are the conditions of intelligibility, what types of things must be granted in order for like certain cognitive structures to work, right? That's the type of question he's asking. And then, apart from that, he says that, well, we just can't access that information absent of the conditions, right? Because, it's almost like a filter you can't take off, right? And the only truths you can really know are what sort of things hold up the filter or make the filter intelligible.
Don't you think that sort of question is one that sort of calls for an explanation, though?
Yeah, I mean, he would say so too. That's why in the critique, he specifically says that metaphysics is like, and I don't know exact term. I think it's like an apparition or an apparition of the mind, but that naturally your mind calls out to these questions and tries to answer them. Right. Now, I mean, I wouldn't be, I'd maybe be like an instrumentalist with metaphysical frameworks and stuff. Like, I don't think that they, like the same way, like you would say, like a scientific theory isn't really representing reality. It's just useful fiction. I'd say the same thing.
Like the anti-realist version, like the scientific anti-realist version of that. Okay. I mean, that's really just the only. I haven't read much about idealism, but like, given what I've heard here on the app, that's like the qualm that I currently have with it. Like, I'm like, well, this is this is the type of question which I'm like needs to be answered, right? Like, I feel like when we're talking about fill of mind, the main questions are like, what is a mind? What explains the existence of a mind? What explains a mind being your mind?
But we are the mind in question, that's what makes it. It's like, how do you exit those conditions? Now, I mean, there are obvious like qualms with this view, and I know, and I wear them on my sleeve because like there's no the thing is there's no real view I found that doesn't have issues, right? But in terms of how strong I think the arguments are for it, I think they're pretty strong.
That's why I'm just quiet on fill of mind, That's why I'm like, it's one of those philosophies that don't need to be touched, It's like mereology. Who gives two fucks about mereology?
I don't know about all.
It's fun, and it's nice to inquire on, but
I don't know if this is like actually a fill of mind answer. This is more just knowledge. I mean, it doesn't really offer a response to that question at all.
Well, perhaps it's an epistemological restraint, and that's why you can't answer the fill of mind question, because of an epistemological constraint that the fill of mind position that you have makes you commit yourself to. I don't like that, though. I think that's one thing that I think, like, to have a view of fill of mind that is successful, whatever we mean by that. I think that that's one of the questions that sort of need to be answered, or else you take a very heavy hit. It's like if you were to ask a dualist, well, look, say your view is true. What explains the fact that my mind is my mind and not your mind? or not both of our minds? If I don't have an answer to that, then I feel like the view takes a very heavy hit.
I mean, I suppose so, but I mean, in terms of what the, it's already framing the wrong question because you're just like, what Kant is answering is a separate question, right? That's what I've already articulated. Like, I'd have to then just offer a rendition of what I think the hard word to fucking say Copernican turn would have to say, and then yeah, it's just a weird word to say, but I mean, that's what all because it's not a form of substance idealism. It's not saying that objects are made of mental stuff and all that. It's not
Then,
pretending
yeah,
like
perhaps the
idealism.
question strictly for that. Am I an atheist? Yes, I am an atheist. Perhaps the question is strictly for substance idealism. If that, because I don't know the distinctions between the different types of idealism and any of that. I've never read anything on idealism.
I mean, you
At all.
should, bro. It's honestly like, I mean,
Do you like pragmatism? It's not pragmatism and idealism are very divorced, but in terms of like at least a lot of Kantian lines and stuff, like Robert Brandom,
Oh, wait,
like
hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I need to pick up. Sorry.
But while he's taking that phone call, everyone, if you can, please tap your screens, like the live, share with anybody who you think might be interested. Topic for today is why should I believe in the Christian God or trust the Gospels, which are not historically reliable? I will debate anybody on that. But also, if you're interested in debating formally, if you have like an opponent that you want to debate against, if you want somebody to host it with professional judges, professional rubric, and time sections, feel free to send me a message. I'm hosting debates again, getting back into it. And yeah, I'm looking for debaters, but I also already have debates planned and I'm getting judges. So let me know if you want to do that. And yeah, I'll give you the recording of the debate, full thing for free. And yeah, I just want to host it. So let me know if you're interested.
Okay.
But yeah.
But yeah, I don't like substance idealism at all, and I like pragmatism. Aside from this, I think pragmatism is one of the better, like meta philosophies.
Someone is calling me, and they don't
I
have
think
a
that's
call.
what the next. I think those are the next set of books I'm gonna buy, are some American pragmatists.
Wait, what is substance idealism?
It's seeing more than what I was offering. It's saying something like, what is fundamental is mental, and this like sort of the physical objects in the world maybe like made up of mental facts, whatever that means. And there's like other stuff like a lot of them are Christian, and then Hegel is hard to understand. Bro.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Hegel? What?
I hear you.
No, I'm saying Hegel is just hard to like.
hard to like give
I've
a.
never read Hegel. I did audiobook Schopenhauer though, and he's a weird fella, but I don't think he's as hard as people
Look at how
say
it's
he is.
goaded, bro.
Bro,
It is pretty. He is like a very he's very woo woo. Don't get me wrong, he's very woo woo. But those guys are those guys of that age are very woo woo.
yeah, but I mean, I like Schopenhauer. I think he's chill. But like, Hegel is even more woo-woo. But he's like, if Kant's saying that there's a filter sitting between us and reality, then like Hegel wants to say that the structures of thought are like connected to reality. They have to follow those rules essentially. Like, reality is
We
intelligible
must
because it
synthesize the
follows.
synthesization of the relations of the mind. I just know he says synthesize a lot.
Yes. I mean, I haven't read him fully or anything. I just kind of skimmed and then got like
He's just a weird
get online.
yeah.
I mean, I don't really. I'm not gonna believe in it, so I know damn well I'm not. Because absolute idealism is just not like.
And that to me that type of stuff, and as well I feel like the only way that one can answer that sort of question is when you explain, when you ask, okay, well, imagine you have a theist and they're like, God, we What are the theists that think we live in like we're inside of God's minds? What are those guys called? Like conceptual something.
Oh yeah, divine conceptualist.
Yeah, divine conceptualism. Like divine conceptualist, I think you just have to like say, well, God's mind is necessary for reality to be. That's weird to me. That's also very weird to me. And I think
Yeah.
if you're like a substance or absolute idealist, like you said, then I think you have to sort of say that sort of same thing. Like, say you're an atheist and an absolute idealist or substance idealist. I feel like you have to say, well, my mind is just necessary, and there's no further reduction on that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so, but
But I don't
some
want to
of
say
them-
that. That's just weird.
It's very every single like idealism. Every form of idealism has its own foundations, and the own question it sort of tries to answer in a way. And so I feel like it's like any other philosophy. You have to sort of know the questions they're trying to answer to understand what they're saying. And so like I know analytical idealism would say something like, I mean, what do you mean, like, when you say a mind is fundamental or mind is fundamental? Like, 'cause those, I think those are different things.
Well, I would assume by mind, with like mind in quotation marks, the word mind, they mean like it's like experience or something. But I mean a mind. What like when you rationalize, what's the thing doing the rationalization? The thing that believes propositions, the thing that contains the belief of propositions.
Yeah, I think they would, like, analytical idealists would say something like you're an apparition of, like, you're like a disembodied set of mental stuff that's like.
That just like seems weird to me. Look, there's like
I know.
there's just these mental things that exist somewhere. But
I
like
don't know, I really don't. I mean, I don't want to butcher it. So.
No, you're killing it. I don't know, it's just weird to me. It's just way
think
too
possible.
woo-woo for me to get into.
But people, I think pretty respectable people have, given it some credence. So I mean, I would read it first, but I don't feel like it's an interesting read. I don't know. All right. Bro, what are you eating, bro?
Potato soup, I made this shit, bro. I'm good at like that.
That shit looks like ass, bro.
Yeah, you wish, bud. It's fucking better than like the whatever fucking goat nuts you be eating over there.
What is that meant to mean, bro? How did you infer that I eat that?
I don't know, bro. Aren't you like from the fucking mountains of Honduras or some shit? Ecuador?
Exactly. See, racism. That's the answer there.
Crazy.
Tisk. I've never ate goat, but I've ate cow intestine, cow tongue. That's just pretty good though. Yeah. I mean, that's what we eat. That's probably the weirdest thing we eat. But you ever had like menudo or pozole?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Uncultured swine, bro. You ever had Man, bro. No sabo, bro. You can speak Spanish, bro?
I do, but I'm Puerto Rican, so the food I eat is very different than food you eat.
You be in bull jive.
What?
Bull jive, bro. I had a Puerto Rican homie. He tried like feeding me some shit. I was like, yo, what is this, bro? Get this off my plate.
Bacalao, bro. You gotta eat bacalao. Some tostones.
What is it called?
Bacalao.
Bro, see? What am I meant to, like, the thing with, like, food and, like, okay, look, pollo con tajadas. That's how we, like, you know what our dish is called? The name of the food, bro. Why do y'all gotta name it some random book? What does that mean, bro? Like, unpack it. Like, what? Like, why do they got nicknames, bro? I hate that Spanish people do that. Like, gordita. What the fuck? Like, why not just call it what it is, bro? Like...
Look, it's because it's fucking boring, bro. Like, imagine I give you a plate of, like, beans and rice, and I go, well, here you have some arroz con frijoles. That's
Hell
not
yeah.
as cool. as saying like fucking arroz con menudo, you know?
No, bro. It's just say arroz con pollo like a regular person, bro. Keep it like, bro. I'll tell you, bro. I'm so excited for December, bro. Just Dune 3, GTA 6, Doomsday. My nephew gonna be in town. It's gonna be Christmas. I'm gonna have a week off work, bro. I'm gonna get so drunk.
It's gonna be peak, bro.
Oh yeah, I can't wait
I
for the
can't wait
Marvel
for
movie.
this.
I know, bro. Like, I don't give a like, and it's crazy because it's like the X-Men are in that hoe. Toby Spider-Man's in that bitch, and then Secret Wars. I heard Secret Wars is gonna have like they're gonna try to have everyone in there. Because if you know, I don't know if you have you ever read the comics of Secret Wars?
I've never.
Yeah.
I remember. I like read them when I was very, very young. I don't remember much, but like
Same.
Miles is a very big part of Secret Wars. So they're
I
gonna have to
know.
introduce Miles at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they will. It's a year in between. I think Miles is going to be part of the MCU reboot. I think that they're not going to follow. I mean, originally they were going to do Kang, and he was going to steal the Beyonders' power. Or no, I think he was going to steal Loki's power. And I think Doom's going to do the same thing in that movie. He's going to steal Doom's power because I think they're replacing the Beyonders with like what where He Who Remains is, where he's like outside of time.
Yeah.
Or again, outside of the multiverse or whatever. And but I'm just bro. I'm sad about the X-Men though, bro. I love the X-Men movies. I love them. I love all the characters.
Those guys are gonna die at the beginning of the movie, bro.
I think they're gonna fuck up Toby Spider-Man and then kill him and then yeah.
I know. I saw this leak. I didn't know if it was AI, but it was Toby Spider-Man with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean I've read I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's some pretty reputable leaks. I couldn't help but read them
I didn't read the script yet. I know that the general script got leaked. I have a screenshot of it, but I've yet to read it.
Yeah, but I love the comic Secret Wars. I mean, it's not going to be as big. Like, there's not going to be as many different like patches, but I hope they have like they just have crazy shit going on. But it's gonna be sick. I can't wait to see Doom like like become God Emperor. That's just gonna be sick.
That's just gonna be fucking badass, bro. And I cannot wait for fucking Battle World too.
Yeah, I know, bro.
Battle World's gonna be so cool, bro.
Everyone's gonna die.
Mystique versus fucking Yelena, crazy.
Yeah, and I think they saved it. They saved it okay. Like what they like kind of patched it together like to make the story correlate. But I like the fact that what they did is just said, okay, well look, we've been having like all these motherfuckers go back in time that fucked up the reality, and so like Doom's here to fix it and some shit. Like, but like I don't know who's causing the incursions because in the I wonder who's causing the incursions. If it's that time travel or if it's like
I think it was the time travel that they did.
because in the comics it's like some other thing, and then like Doom basically enslaves the other thing or like convinces it to like not do that, and then he's able to like control everything. Basically.
Doctor Strange, Mitch. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Doctor Strange movie. Fuck me.
Oh yeah, and the Illuminati was in that, and they fucking Wanda killed everyone.
Yeah, like with the book and shit, and fucking what was her name? Wanda. She was like going to different realities and like trying to steal her kids back.
Yeah, bro, Doctor Strange is hilarious. He's always on some don't mess with the multiverse, and like every movie he's in, he just fucking like causes like the worst.
He fucks up the multiverse.
Exactly, bro. Like in Spider-Man's movie, bro. That shit, bro.
Dude, Doctor Strange just doesn't know how to use his powers, bro.
Yeah,
I
and bro,
would use the time stone for everything. Like, come on.
the TVA don't make sense to me. Like, that shit don't make no sense. That doesn't make sense. Like that whole, how does time work there? Like, wouldn't they be seeing all facts at the same time? So like, there would be no moment in which they weren't present. Like, I'm so lost. I don't know.
I think it's just that in the TVA, time passes at a rate so infinitesimally small that it's basically like it does not pass. Which is like you can survive, which is like you can be in the TVA for like 1 trillion years and not age a second. So I think the TVA is just either extremely small, or it's just some form of a spell in which nobody ages in the TVA.
But I mean, magic doesn't work in the TVA. You know, it's like I think it exists outside of the multiverse because it's looking at like it has, you know, like it's weird. But
Magic could work in a GBA. I mean, look, what does Loki currently? What powers does Loki currently have? If not magical powers.
I can't remember. I know he's like stuck. He's basically sustaining all of reality. He doesn't have any powers. He's just like he sacrificed himself and is just all lonely and like just like he's like at least I have a purpose.
I don't know, man.
The X-Men, like, oh my bad. I mean, I meant to say X-Men. I'm so excited, bro. X-Men are way more interesting than the Avengers, and I'll die on that hill. They were always better. They didn't get better, bro.
I agree.
They're always better.
Excuse
bro.
me.
That,
What?
dude, the storyline is better. The villains are better. The villains are better.
I agree.
Everything is better.
What do you think about the new cast? Do you think that? What are your thoughts on Rogue? I don't think that's a good choice.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like that shit, I couldn't, you know, like imagine being like not having any game and pulling up to that house, bro. I'd be pissed off, yo. I don't really care. I think like I'm gonna have to give it a chance first, like. They're all, I will say one thing. They're all fun as hell, bro. Like, holy.
Nothing but straight mind shit. So
They're all straight, bro. They like straight 10 out of 10s, bro. I don't mind it. I'm gonna have to see it first, but like, I think she can do a good job. She kind of looks like some
She's
of
the
the.
girl from Obsession, but I don't think she's a good. But I think she needs to get bulky if she wants to do good Rogue, or if she wants to look like Rogue. She might be able to play the part fine.
Rogue, some rogues, a lot of rogues in the comics looks like fine as hell, like little skinny, like they don't really. They don't.
No,
have
look,
to
they might be high waist, but bro, they're like, she's like Rogue in the comics. She's like bigger and bulky. She's more bulky. She's tall.
Nah,
She's like, she got a bit more tummy, right? And also, I think
there's different drawings of her. There's different art styles that different people. He's like Wolverine was supposed to be short as fuck, and he's tall as hell. I just have to give it a chance first, you know. I don't know. I just hope. Who's Magneto, bro? Is Magneto been casted? Magneto's like my favorite.
Magneto has not been casted yet.
Magneto and Spider-Man are like my two favorite fucking characters in Marvel, bro.
Magneto is so cool, bro. I always like state his catchphrase. Never again. That shit is so badass.
I just love, like, bro. Honestly, bro, Charles Xavier is a cuck, bro, for these humans. But if I was that, bro, like,
No,
Charles is a house mutant, man.
but you know, I look, we get it though, because I think in the lore, he's like basically, he experience like every time he uses the Cerebro, he basically experiences everyone's emotions,
yeah.
and he like sees everyone's perspective, and so it's like,
But he's
it's
a
not
house
like-
mutant, man. Come on.
bro, but that's like a different type of empathy. Imagine not literally having to think. You literally are experiencing other people's things. So it's like he has to have that, like, you know.
Yeah. But honestly, like, I take it that, like, Professor Xavier is, like, Martin Luther King, and then, like, the other guy is, like, Malcolm X. He wants to, like...
What?
Well, okay, hear me out, right? So, like, Professor Xavier, when they do bad things, he's like, kumbaya, we should get along, work together to advance humanity, right? And that was, like, Martin Luther King's whole thing. He was like, we need to, like, be nice to each other and love each other. Now, when it comes to Magneto, he's like, no, fuck these guys. Whatever they do to us, we should do to them first, or do to them in response, right? And Malcolm X was more like, if the white people hit you, you better hit them back the same way. So that's kind of my analysis. And also, like, with the whole mutants thing, they are kind of playing on, like, racism, right? The mutants are, like, minorities, and, like, everybody else is normal, and they're kind of like...
But, you know, as the time's gone on, that comparison, it still exists, but, like, in IRL, bro, I kind of get it, bro. Like, imagine, like, you're just in school chilling, and some motherfucker unlocks his powers, evaporates the entire school, bro, and you're just...
Yeah, literally.
It's like, imagine like you're in the same classroom as that guy whose superpower is exploding and killing himself.
Or like, someone gets rejected, they're embarrassed, they're telepathic, they just fucking give everyone a sphere. Or like telepathic people, imagine how weird that would be, that like, there would just be a motherfucker reading your mind. No, bro.
Yeah, so like the mutants can be problematic, but also like, I mean, humans can also be assholes too, because like there was the whole Cyclops thing, and you know, people were bullying him, and he ended up lasering like a bathroom stall onto somebody. So, but yeah,
Yeah, bro, but like even then, bro, like imagine like bro. But I mean, there's also really weak mutants. The majority of them are weak, so.
yeah, some of them are like their powers like they can extend their tongue or something. Like it's not even like something like.
Wait,
significant.
Isa, have you seen My Hero or not?
Fuck no, bro.
Yeah,
Hi, my name's Deku.
I was gonna, bro. Come on, man. The show is peak, okay?
It's ass.
The show is peak. You're fucking crazy.
Bro,
But
straight. Yo, season 1, I want to be a hero. Season 2, I want to be a hero.
wait, season 2 is. Oh, hold on. Season 1 is a little bit slow, but season 2 from there on is just straight peak.
I'll say this: the All Might edits are cool. That's it, bro. Deku's annoying as hell, though.
What are you talking about? The All Might edits are cool. Everybody's edits are cool.
Nah, bro, Deku look like I don't know. He looks like a middle-aged lesbian woman with like a 4-year-old's voice and like. No, like, bro, I'm straight hater on My Hero. That's the one. I'm like, that's like the. You know how people used to irrationally bully people who like anime? I'm only like that towards people who like My Hero.
You're crazy, bro. I think that's top 5 shonen.
I'm not sure about that. I need to watch
Yo.
it, but like, nah. I mean, when you got things like Dragon Ball Z, Demon Slayer, like
Dragon Ball Z. Oh my god.
One
like,
Piece.
That's
No,
not,
I
that
don't
barely
hear it.
classifies as a fucking anime.
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z
Mhm.
is the anime. It's the face,
the most
literally.
popular anime, the face of anime.
The
bro.
face
Tell
of
me-
anime.
tell me
Dragon
one-
Ball Z is an anime in the same way that Pokemon is.
No,
No, Pokemon. Hey, bro, listen,
Yo.
Goku will take a shit on every character in Pokemon, bro. Don't even compare the two, bro.
Loki, I like Pokemon.
I'm
and
not
I
saying.
agree
Look,
with that.
I'm saying it's an anime in the same way that Pokemon classifies as an
That
anime.
you have not watched
By-
Dragon Ball. There's no
By
way.
fucking, I watched the entirety of Super.
No, that have you what Super? Have you watched Z? The best
I
fucking
did
piece
watch
of
Z. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Then
did
how are you
wa-
gonna call
I
it
did
not an
watch
anime?
Z
It
when I was
basically
young, but I don't give a
influenced
fuck about
every
Z. It's not
anime
even fucking
after.
canon. What are you talking about?
Dragon,
It
Dragon Ball.
basically
I've seen the entire.
It
I've watched
Dude, Dragon
Broly-
Ball Z
I've watched the
influenced
Broly movie
every
like 100
shonen that
times.
came after it.
Yeah, literally.
That's the
Dragon
dumbest
Ball-
I've watched
claim ever.
the
Dragon Ball
Broly movie
is
like
the
100
anime.
times. I've seen Z. I saw Dragon Ball Super. I watched the new one. What's it fucking called? Kai, whatever the fuck. I watched
Did
that
you watch
one.
how does one human being watch Dragon Ball Z? Probably like one of the most influential animes of all time.
Literally.
And then say that it's not an anime. That's retarded. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Drop
You're good.
it.
Don't worry about it.
But like
yeah, like I would say like whenever people say anime, like they think Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, and like that inspired like other animes in regards to like their plot lines and like their power scaling and shit. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not like studied in it.
yeah, the entire formula, bro, is like bro, what? Like bro, Hunter x Hunter. Basically every shonen that has a power scaling system like Dragon Ball has certain like the arcs are derived like Dragon Ball. I mean, how can you watch the Cell Saga and say that's not peak anime?
Literally. Wait.
That's like
peak. It's peak. Wait. It's peak. Don't get me wrong. It's peak. It's peak. But it barely classifies as an anime.
that makes
bro,
no sense.
That's crazy work. Yeah, on God.
That's like saying the first Superman comic barely classifies as a comic. I mean, obviously there's anime before, but like, come on, Toriyama, like, he's the GOAT, bro.
But like Loki, like my favorite thing was when Goku was like on planet Namek, and like Frieza like killed all his friends, right? And so he was like really angry, and like the lightning was going off, and he was like glowing and about to go Super Saiyan for the first time. And I was like, yo, I'm literally about to cry. This is the most peak thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. This guy's about to turn up.
Yeah, whenever Android, the redheaded Android, he gets his head stomped off by Cell,
Yeah.
and then Gohan's just like, no, or I can't remember what he says, but he just locks the fuck in, the damn thing slashes open, and he just locks in and starts beating Cell's ass. That's like one of the my core memories, bro.
Yeah.
And whenever he's on Planet Namek and first goes Super Saiyan, yeah.
I find it very interesting how like they were gonna kill like Goku off and make Gohan the most powerful Saiyan out of everybody, but then they ended up keeping Goku, and Gohan is technically, well, okay, Gohan was supposed to be the most powerful Saiyan, but then like, you know, if you start going into like Dragon Ball Z, the power tournament, and like Goku has like Ultra Instinct, I mean, yeah, like Goku and Vegeta during the power tournament are like way more powerful than like Gohan and like Krillin and everybody else. So
Yeah. What do you think of Naruto?
Naruto was cool. I read
Naruto is peak. Naruto is top 5.
See, that's why, bro. It's definitely the fact that you just like Naruto more than Dragon Ball. Nigga, like, there's no
Naruto
other
is
explanation.
Top 5. Naruto's top 5.
Dragon Ball's way better than Naruto. Sorry, bro. I'm gonna be.
You're fucking insane.
No, bro.
Actually,
Naruto,
yeah,
what does Naruto
yeah.
consist of, bro?
I think Loki.
Hey, listen, what does Naruto consist to, bro? Guys, we can talk it out, bro. No, Goku's throwing straight hands, bro. There's no bullshit.
Talk it out. The fuck you talking about? Talk it out. Motherfucker was pulling off. That motherfucker was pulling off
Naruto, bro.
Hokage level moves in middle
Hey.
school. The fuck are you talking about?
Listen,
Okay,
bro.
but
You know,
if
but you
we're
know,
being honest
listen, hey.
here-
Krillin would kill every single person in Naruto. Every single person.
Wait, I'm not sure about that. I
Yeah,
can't.
it's-
I would agree that like Goku would wipe the fucking floor with Naruto. I can agree to that, but Krillin, hell no.
Krillin's kind of weak, Loki.
No,
Yo, bro, I was pissed at like.
Krillin gets smacked by JJK characters, buddy.
No, bro. I think
Yeah.
Krillin could kill everyone in the Invincible universe too, bro. Bro.
Okay, well,
That's fine.
Invincible
Yeah,
be
that's fine.
pissing me the fuck off because like, why the fuck is Mark losing every fade that he gets into, bro? Like, where is he at?
Oh, he's like
That's
you.
kind of the point, though. I mean, he just his like.
He doesn't know how to fight.
His
Look, imagine
win-
this. Imagine this. Imagine I give you like super strength,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, go fight motherfuckers that also have super strength and have been fighting for decades. Like, I give you super strength, and then I put you up against like John Jones, who has like half of your strength. Right?
Oh yeah, you're
You're
losing.
probably
What
still
type of
gonna end
super
up
strength
fucking
are we
losing to
talking
John
about?
Jones.
Yeah, but I'm
what
like,
type of super strength? Because I mean, shit.
I don't know. Just imagine you're like double the strength. You have like double the strength of the average human, right? And then I have John Jones, and he has half of the strength that you have, right?
like every
And
single.
he's still gonna fuck you up, even though he's weaker than you. He's still gonna fuck.
Like if I had like Spider-Man type super strength, then nah. But like, dude, if it's just some weak ass like, bro, I'd get pissed off. Imagine taking super serum and that's all you get, just like above average strength. I'd be pissed off.
I think like Loki, if Mark just like let go and was okay with killing people, then yeah, he probably could like solo everybody. Loki. But like he's just a pussy.
And he doesn't lose every fight. What do you mean? I mean, he beats Armstrong. He beats.
But, like, barely.
He beats a couple people.
But like,
Yeah, that's the point. He's learning. Like he's so young and he's half Viltrumite, and yet he's beating like people who lived for like 1,000 years. You know.
okay. Actually, wait, that's actually fair. But like, there's like some people who aren't that powerful that he ends up stomping, but then like when it really counts, he's just getting like ripped open, and I'm like, damn, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean that
Right,
makes
though,
sense.
right, is that it's kind of like Invincible is getting thrown up against people who have been doing this for thousands of years compared to what? Not even 1,000 years himself. Obviously, he's going to get his ass whooped.
Yeah.
Not even
this is
100,
the
bro.
other-
He's like
yeah.
25.
Yeah.
And bro, oh my god, Thrag and Battle Beast, bro, I can't wait for that to be animated.
That's just gonna be peak. I can't wait for that.
I
Shit.
would listen if season what season is it now? 5?
Yeah.
Dude, if season's 5 budget all goes into that one episode, I'll die happy, bro. I just want to see that shit like. Dude, and then like Thrag with Battle Beast's coat on, that shit's gonna be so tough. That's gonna be a profile picture, bro.
So, Coco, what's the updates? Who's debating next Friday?
I got like 3 people from Knowledge Gap crew. It's gonna be Kylo and like
KG.
yeah, and yeah, they're gonna be debating. I already have like a format for them, and yeah, I'm gonna make the promo video, and then I'm trying to like add more debates to it, and the event's gonna be called Kylo versus the World, or Kylo Game Knowledge Gap versus.
Dude,
the
did you
World.
see Kylo go against Vi? Or V, sorry.
I saw him go against Q-Top, but no, not.
Well, yeah. So, Ultra, the name because he was on Ultra Count was Dino Nuggies, and he debated Kylo, and he over on a question marks panel, and the votes were 75 Dino compared to 25 Kylo. And the only people who voted for Kylo was himself and Russell and like 2 other randoms.
Getting voted by
Dude,
Russell is how you know.
Ultra is so. Ultra is. I have no idea, but if you see somebody with like a word with a K in front of it and then this vibe, that's Ultra. That's the one who put absolute belt to ass against this fucking Kylo. And then Kylo
really
said that he
that
doesn't
much
even
of
want to talk to him again.
Was it really that much of a accomplishment to beat Kyle in a debate?
I think Kylo's good.
Not really, but you know, it's definitely a humbling experience for Kylo. That's for sure. Hopefully, at least.
Nah, he's been conceited. He is just like that. I mean, I don't even
Kylo
find
and Kylo is
Kylo.
crazy.
I don't even find. I mean, I don't dislike Kylo. I like Kylo as an individual, but he is just conceited. That is just the fashion in which he exists. I don't know. He's
I have
always
no
been
idea.
egotistical. Even when he didn't know much, he was always like that.
I will never.
He's always had the ego. Now he just has the fucking balls to show it.
I will never. Well, okay. Well, you guys got it. But yeah, and then after that, after next week, which is gonna be Kylo Gang on Friday, I'm gonna have Seer versus Cease to Know on does the Christian God exist? And then I'm stacking debates. I have like 6 other debates to host. Basically,
Seer is debating Cease.
yeah.
He's gonna ask me to amp him, and I'm gonna say no. I'm not. He's gonna get fucking obliterated by Cease. Oh my god.
Well, I mean,
But
who
is
knows?
Seer that one kid whose name used to be Prince or something like that?
No.
No,
The-
I mean he's a really young kid, and he was gonna debate something, and he asked me to develop. Like I don't know what the fuck amp even means, to be honest with you.
Train him up.
The amp just means teach him,
Amplify.
bro. I don't know where the fuck this word came from, but amp just means teach him. I think it's just like amplify his knowledge. I think that's what it's short for.
Yeah.
That's just
But
stupid.
he's
Just go read.
He's a little,
like,
he's a little rhetorician, but I mean I like him. He's cool. I mean he'll just whenever he knows he's like been caught out, he'll just be like, yeah, I'm LARPing away.
These guys just like can't read for like 20 minutes. Just like just go read
He's
something.
actually
For, like,
pretty-
doing-
That's low-key what I told him, bro. I'm like, nigga, I'm not gonna sit here and like lecture you. Go get a book.
Literally, bro, just go get a fucking book on Z Library.
I'm pretty
Read, like,
sure
whatever
he's pretty
chapter.
well read. He's read a little bit.
You know what's shocking
Little.
me?
He has, but only on specific arguments. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was trying to make me help him on an argument about free will and compatibilism and determinism, and he really did not have a lot of knowledge on it. I was like, well, go read. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lecture you about every single concept and every single term and stuff.
Literally, bro.
Do you know what shocked me? What shocks me?
I think
Like some of the people on TikTok that I admire, I'm like, oh, you seem very well read. Like you probably read like a lot of books cover to cover, and they're like, no, I don't read. I just read like articles or
Well-
like bits of books, basically. but not
yeah,
the
I
whole
mean,
thing.
like when it comes to like philosophy, it doesn't seem to be something that you have to read up on, right? Like a lot of the stuff that I know currently is just simply from having conversations through debates and just asking questions. That's where kind of like a lot of my understanding when it comes to philosophy comes from. But that one, at least my version, takes a lot longer to get to that point. There's still so many things that I'm confused on, which is why I'm studying it now. But yeah.
But another thing is that, I mean, I don't read every book in terms of what, like, I only buy, books are fucking expensive, right? And they take a lot of time to read. I only buy books of beliefs or positions where I find intuitive enough, I have enough of an understanding where if I read this completely and understood it, there may be something of value that would actually change a belief of mine. But if
Also,
it's
most
like,
books like already have a shit ton of things in them that go over multiple topics. Like, if you were to read, like, let's say you want to learn ethics, and you read like, you already know a bit of ethics from like being in like this sort of community. Let's say you just go read Parfit or something. That Parfit book, where 3 chapters are about ethics, there's also 3 chapters about philosophy of mind, 3 chapters about like identity. 3 other chapters about like why these things are false, arguments for this. Reading is good, but you don't have to read a lot to
I
end up.
actually found this YouTube channel that's run by a professor of philosophy.
Is it Kane B?
I'm blanking on what university. Huh?
Is it Kane B?
No, a little bit of philosophy is their YouTube username.
A little bit of philosophy.
Oh, bro, did you see Kane and Rebecca broke up?
What?
Yeah, go on Kane's channel right now and look at one of his most recent videos. I go on his channel right now, look about one of his most recent videos. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. He's like, the beginning of the video, he's like, he's holding his phone and he's like, well, guys, I'm single and I'm looking for a girlfriend. And then he posts his email and he's like, if you want to hit me up, here's my email.
No way, bro.
Yo, I was like, oh my
Have
god,
either
me and Kate are
studied-
planning on doing a video that looks like we're gonna like mimic the video.
Dude.
Have either of you studied epistemology at all?
I've read some things.
yeah, I've
about
read.
epistemology.
So I was listening to the lecture by the YouTube guy, and it seems to be, at least because these are old videos, so it may not be accurate anymore. But like the way the academics treat knowledge, it means like a justified true belief is to have knowledge, and I'm not
Yeah,
quite
but
understanding that.
Outside of Gettier cases.
Well, what
But if you
I'm-
want to like know, if you want to like read very simple things that give you the basic, like a basic understanding, and then some views that account for some things.
Well, it's because what I'm confused on is that are we really gonna say people don't have knowledge of false things, right? Like, because it seems to be almost intuitive that we do have knowledge about false things. Well, those things may not be true, but I think knowledge can encompass false and true things.
Well, you see that's another view, right? The common
Answer
view is
that.
JTB, but that right there, you can. There's this guy. There's like the Swedish guy. Yeah, Zebzewski. But no, there's this Swedish guy on YouTube that he basically just gives you the rundown of a couple of papers. If you want to get into epistemology, read like Greco and Sosa, so they can give you like a rundown on internalism, externalism.
Well,
They are
currently,
both
I'm
Marxists,
going-
so there's so many different views on knowledge that are very
So-
very different from each other as well.
Currently, where I'm at is I'm going kind of like in order. I've gotten a little bit of the. I kind of skipped over the history because of philosophy because I don't really care. But I'll probably go back to that later. But I have a very good understanding
The
of like
Burton Russell book?
and then what I'm currently on his epistemology lectures, but I don't know if I'll be able to really get what he's saying because I can't wrap my head around knowledge being just true beliefs. I can't.
Well, look, you have to like know 3 things before you start getting true knowledge. You have to know what justification is, what truth is, and what a
Right.
belief is. And then you have to know. Then
And he breaks those
using
all
your
down.
intuitions, you can like see whether or not you think knowledge because knowledge is the type of thing where you already have a conception of it, and then you try and express what the conception is. It's not like one of those things where you're like, okay, well, look, there's an inconsistency here in this sort of causal thing, and we need to create some form of a principle that's indispensable or something like that.
Well, the issue that I'm having is I can't, like, it doesn't just seem to be the case that when we have knowledge of something, it's something that we know is true, right? Like, I can't get my head around that idea, and it makes it a lot harder for me to be able to understand what he's saying because I get so stuck up on that. I'm very semantic-y. So certain things that are said I get very stuck up on. And that's one thing that I'm struggling to listen to because I just can't agree with it.
Well, there are like intro to philosophy textbooks which define terms in like in that way. You can look that up.
I mean,
Yeah,
I wouldn't even say I have a definition of knowledge. Currently, I have no way of putting what knowledge is.
Well, yeah, I mean that is what epistemology is trying to answer. So I mean, I'd hope you wouldn't have one yet, but if you learn the terms, it might be easier to construct one. I mean, there are people who reject factivity and stuff, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, I
there's-
mean, for like an example, right? Like, obviously, unless you guys are flat earthers, we're gonna say that the Earth is round, right? That's true. But then there's people who are flat earthers who do have that knowledge that the Earth is flat. While it may not be true, they still have that knowledge. And I don't think we could truly say that they have false knowledge. That just doesn't even sound right to me.
Well, it seems like you have to find the distinction between what it means to know something and what it means to be justified in believing a thing. Because if truth is not a condition of knowledge, then what does it mean? Like, what would be the distinction between, let's say, I see a vase, right? And I'm like, I see a vase on a counter. I'm like, okay, that is a vase on the counter. Versus, let's say there's a projector where that's one world, and in another world, there's a projector projecting what seems to be a vase on the counter, and I go, well, there's a vase on the counter. The truth condition there is false. There's no truth for that statement's false. Yeah, I seem to be justified in that belief, but you want to say there's a
Right.
distinction between the two, such that one's knowledge and one isn't.
I wouldn't see why it both wouldn't be knowledge, right? Because I would say that they're both fairly justified in believing what they're seeing, right? Like the person seeing the projector and seeing that vase, well, they're justified in saying that on this projector I saw a vase. Well, another person in a world where it's right in front of them, they seem just as fairly justified on that.
No, I agree. They're both justified in the belief, but yet you want to say, do you? I presumably you want to make a distinction between being justified in a belief and knowing something.
Right. There would be a distinction.
Let's say I'm justified in believing two things that contradict each other. Or let's say I'm justified in believing two things that contradict each other. Then I would, if you don't want to make the distinction, well, then I would have. Now I have two things. I know two things that are contradictory.
Yeah, and I mean, for a lot of people, I mean, even in ordinary language, when you ask, you wouldn't want to say that you know a false. Like, if someone asks you, what does it mean? What is knowing? What is knowing? And I think it would require knowing some true fact, right? No, like, it's in relation to truth. You justify. I
would say I would be able to
Truth such that
accept
we know
that you know something due to you being justified in believing that. But it seems to be that if we were to take the case of like a flat earther versus a round earther, where we would say that the round earther is justified in their beliefs due to what they know, due to their studies, while the flat earther is also justified in their belief due to what they know, due to how they see the world. So it seems to be that when we're asking if something's true or false, it seems to be just I don't know. It just I can't seem to think of a case where I could say, well, you have knowledge of something that I would consider to be false, but I don't know if I could say, well, then you don't have that knowledge.
Well, maybe a question to ask is when do I not know something? When do I believe something and not know it?
When do you believe something and not know it?
Like what conditions are met there such that I can believe something and that belief not be counted as knowledge?
Something that you could believe that isn't counted as knowledge?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Something you could believe without having knowledge. I don't know.
it also, like, just alone the statement that you know something. Isn't it? Would you not find that conceptually incoherent? Like the statement, "I know something, but it is false."
No.
If I say, like, let's replace something with like something else. Like I know Sarah is home, but Sarah is not home. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like it's because the reason and the explanation as to why that would be conceptually incoherent is because beliefs are formed off of the thought of truth. So, like, imagine I say, well, look, I know that stealing isn't wrong. I know that it's false that stealing is wrong. Yet I believe stealing is wrong. The type of belief that I have there is sort of weird because typically when you believe things, you believe them to be true. Unless you have a false belief. But if you have a false belief and yet you believe it to be false, right? Or yet you believe it to be true, yet you know it's false. It seems to be that the person that's doing that is irrational.
Right, they would be irrational, but the question is, do they truly have knowledge of it then? Right, because I would say that they do. I don't see why.
Say I believe. Say it's just say like I arbitrarily believe that stealing is wrong, right? And I'm presented with facts that show that, well, it is actually the case that stealing is not wrong. It's true that stealing is not wrong. Yet I continue to believe that stealing is wrong. Do I have knowledge that stealing is wrong? I don't have any justification because it's arbitrary. The belief is arbitrary. And it's not true. The belief is not a true belief. Yet I continue to believe it.
I mean, you're definitely irrational, but I don't know if I'd be willing to go as far to say you don't have knowledge of it. Right, because I think...
Well, imagine you were to put yourself in that scenario, though. Imagine I say, well, the person who has this belief is you, right? And then you say, well, okay, well, I'm irrational to believe this thing. And to say that I know this thing is also irrational to say.
Right, it would be both irrational, but... I'll have to think on this more.
I mean, yeah. Also, like, think about the practical use of the term knowledge. Also, if you reject factivity, like, I mean, I also agree with Seb that these things are propositional attitudes, and so you're affirming something which is aimed toward the world, and so you're trying to say that your beliefs somehow represent the world in a meaningful fashion, right? And so to say that you know a thing, right, which should also require you to believe it. I think this thing they're trying to articulate there, that which separates the justified belief between knowing a thing, is that you're some level of certainty or degree of truth to the thing. Like, that's, what else would you use the term knowledge for? I mean, it would be useless. It would just mean that someone has a strong confidence in their belief, right? But that's true of a lot of people.
Well, I guess what I'm really getting stuck up on is, while it seems to be that we're all justified in our beliefs to a certain extent, right? Like, somebody who believes the earth is round, obviously they're not going to think that a flat earther is justified in believing that the earth is flat. But while that flat earther will think that they are justified, while they would perceive the round earther as unjustified.
I mean, this also has to do with, I think, your theory of justification and, like, whether or not you're internalist or externalist about.
Well, before you even get to that, right, you can just look with that example. Say we have the round earther and the flat earther. The round earther wants to say that there's reasons, right, and there's facts about the world which would justify the type of belief the belief that they have. Then the flat earther wants to say, well, there's also facts about the world that do also justify my belief. Right now, there's degrees of justification. So you can be more justified in a thing. You can be more just. Let's say that, like, you formed the belief that I stole your cake that was on the counter, and what justifies that belief? Because if you have arbitrary beliefs, then you're unjustified, because arbitrariness is no justification. So if we obviously want to be justified in our beliefs, or else we would be irrational. So let's say the justification that you use that forms that belief, right, is the fact that I'm the only person who's been in the house today, right? Or maybe I'm your roommate. Now, say that you gain another piece of knowledge, right? Or another piece of information, another fact about the situation. And that fact is some camera footage of another person, your neighbor, the neighbor coming into the house and stealing the cake. Now, it seems that you're now less justified in believing that I took the cake, right? After you see the facts of the footage, than you were initially when the only fact that you had was that I am your roommate. Right, so there's degrees in which you're justified for things, and what makes those sort of degrees, or what changes the degrees, are facts about the world. Now,
Right. But
obviously, you would need to get into your view on truth, but we can just say that facts about the world are what true things is. Like facts about the world and true things are identical.
Yeah.
So truth is
But
obviously
we-
involved in justification.
But would we go as far to say that they don't have knowledge of that thing then?
Yeah.
Right, 'cause-
Yeah, that would be the symmetry breaker, the truth. That's it.
So it seems that truth needs to be involved, and at minimum, truth needs to be involved with degrees of justification. And justification is for beliefs, right? What else would these things be justifying if not a belief? So it seems that you need justification and belief, or you need truth, and obviously knowledge has to be some form of a belief. So it seems that you need to have truth for justification.
Okay. I think I'm catching this a little better. Also, I'll still have to think on it more because I'm still struggling a little bit to wrap it around my head.
No, I think JTB is false,
I mean,
but don't listen to my views.
What is it called? JTB plus, bro.
No, I'm a virtue epistemologist.
Oh my god, bro.
Wow.
Guy over here, bro.
I've actually yet to read Sosa and Grecker's paper, but
Virtue epistemology, bro. What it?
virtue, you're just an unvirtuous person, bro. Are you like virtue ethics is peak, virtue epistemology peak? You're just an unvirtuous person, bro. You don't have a life worth living if you're not virtuous.
Speaking of
What is-
that, oh wait, actually, do you guys actually continue?
Yeah. Also, I mean, Shin, I think you have very strong like internalist type of intuitions about this stuff. Because I mean, I think that's what you're coming from. Like, well, like both these individuals, regarding all the facts they have access to, are equally as justified, and yet you would say one wouldn't know. Yeah, I mean that's, and then an externalist would argue that there are other facts about their how they're justified that matter outside of what they have access to, like the degree of which there's like their sort of epistemic, like their inquiry, the practice of inquiry that they're using, like their framework and all this other stuff, how useful it is, how truth tracking it is, things external to the mind that make some certain things justified.
Mm-hmm. And just to make this clear, I have no idea what an internalist or an externalist is. So, I mean, like, I just found out I'm a Neoplatonist, or at least that's what my beliefs align to just yesterday. I'm still learning a lot about this shit. So, I don't know. So, if that's what I'm coming off of, hopefully that's not a terrible thing.
An internalist is somebody who thinks you can be justified in some beliefs strictly by internal means without having to use your external factors like your senses and all of that. You can strictly be justified in some, or you can be justified in some beliefs strictly by internal means. So like if you were put into a void and you were blinded and deafened, you can form beliefs, right? And be justified in those beliefs because you're using internal factors. An externalist is somebody who thinks that our beliefs are formed by external means, so things external to us. And the way that we form those beliefs is by using our senses. So if I were to be blinded, deafened, and put into a void, I would not be able to form any beliefs.
Okay. I mean, like, I just really like I just have very strong like intuition towards certain things. So a lot of things, a lot of my views line up to things that I've been told or this and this. I mean, I don't know if I would exactly agree to an eternalist view. I think you can to an extent, right? Like, if you were to say, well, internally, there's nothing around me, right? Like, if we were to pretend that there's nothing in your body, right? So you're going to feel that internally. You're not going to know that externally. So it seems to be we can form that belief just from that stance. I think there's
internally they just mean the mind. Like you can just use your reasoning faculties to come to form
I'd agree with
beliefs.
that.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, like just strictly your thought. Like, do you know who Descartes is?
No.
Have you ever heard the quote "I think, therefore I am"?
Yeah.
type shit.
So that quote stems from Descartes, and Descartes' thing to sort of internalism wasn't really a thing at this point, but his sort of quote unquote proof for internalism is that he can conceptualize himself in a world in which nothing exists but his mind. So his body does not exist, right? There's no items around him. There's no tables. There's no trees. There's no hands. There's no legs. There's no lungs. It's just strictly his mind. And he can still, to him, he still thinks that he can form a belief, which is, I think, therefore I am. The belief is that there is at least a thinker, because I can do thinking. So for something to do thinking, it must be a thinker. So he can form a belief strictly by internal means, not using any senses. And that's sort of his take on why he thinks externalism is false.
I mean, I think they're both valid, but I think I would lean more towards internalism because it doesn't seem to be the only way we are justified in believing things are strictly by what is around us.
You know, it's funny because Kant, you know how like the cart goes from, there is thinking, right? There is some form of thinking, and he goes like, I there know myself as a simple, substantial, and immaterial soul. Like, yo, Kant.
There's thinking to therefore here's the metaphysics of the mind.
And Kant just stops. Kant literally just stops as there is thinking, and the thinking is necessarily accompanied by an I or a unified subject, and that's it. He doesn't infer anything else from it, and that's like I was like, bro, that makes way more fucking sense than the latter, bro.
But okay, really quick mod break. Thank you guys for being here. If you can, please tap your screens, like the live, share with anybody who you think might be interested. There's 8 people in here. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I was playing Power World, but now I am focusing on my next debate event, and I want to get back to taking over TikTok in regards to hosting debates and hosting the best debate events on TikTok. I'm actually I can't wait for the Kylo debate and also the Seer versus Cease to Know debate, and I'm gonna work on that now. I did create formats for different types of debates.
What are they debating? What are they debating?
Yeah. Seer versus Cease to Know is, does the Christian God exist? I might word it differently, but yeah.
I feel like that's gonna be another like. Did you watch Parker and Jesus and whatnot? I said.
No.
You know,
No.
It happened today. It was so bad, bro. Like Parker.
Isn't it whatnot
It's so
knowledgeable?
Parker didn't do that well, right?
No, I thought so, but no, bro. Look, Jesus and whatnot. He's like his initial argument is using the PSR, and then like Parker's like, okay, can you motivate the PSR? But previous to that, right? Jesus and whatnot. I'm just gonna call him whatnot. Whatnot like asked Parker, "Can you motivate why we should reject the PSR?" And Parker just dodges that, and he's like, "Can you motivate the PSR?" And then they go on like a rhetoric rant. Then whatnot's like, "Okay, look, I grabbed this pencil, and this pencil's in the air. What's the reason for this pencil to be in the air, Parker?" And Parker's like, "Well, the fact that you grabbed it, right? You could have grabbed something else, but you grabbed that pencil, so that explains that." And whatnot's like, "Well, there you go. That's proof of the PSR." He he kept calling the PSR a fundamental principle of logic. And then he was like, well, look, whenever you invoke cause and effect, whenever you say there was an effect, or there was a cause to some effect, then that means you're invoking the PSR.
Oh shit!
You know what's funny?
this is so confused.
You know, Leibniz made that shit. He's the one that gave the PSR its fame and fortune and all that shit. And he literally says, and he makes sure to exclude it from being synonymous with the law of non-contradiction and all this other
That's
bullshit.
what he literally said. He was like, look, it's one of the fundamental principles of logic. Like, do you know the law of non-contradiction, Parker? I'm like, oh my god,
Dude, I mean, that's the thing that they're
confusion.
arguing about this. Like, the first question you ask there is like, well, is the strong or the weak? And then you go from there. And like,
But it's the fact that neither of them even knew what the PSR was.
what did he define it as? I mean,
He said the PSR is just that for every cause there is an effect. Or no, sorry, that there exists cause and effect. That's what it was.
Mm.
And so
What?
that's what when Parker said, well, look, what causes the effect of the pencil being in the air is the fact that you grabbed it. And then I was like, well, there you go, that's the PSR. You just Oh. Wait, what was the last thing you heard? I got a call. What was the last thing you heard?
Cause and
that's
effect.
That's really
Okay, so-
weird.
It's like, look, Parker, what caused the pencil to be in the air? And Parker's like, well, the fact that you grabbed the pencil and put it in the air, right? That's the cause for the effect of the pencil being in the air. And Whatnot's like, well, there you go. You're invoking the PSR.
Doesn't make
Shoot,
sense.
they gotta read on these things, especially if they're big content
agree.
creators.
Well, I mean, to be fair to Parker, that isn't really his domain, but it's still kind of like impressive that he went out there and debated it regardless. But personally, and this may be my own personal bias, like, I love Sue to death, but I think Cease is gonna eat him alive.
He is, bro.
Yeah, same.
Year's not ready for that, man. Cease is a great debater.
Well-
Paichi, Jesus and Whatnot said that, in a debate in front of 10,000 people.
Didn't he also say that a contradiction is what is A is not B?
Oh yeah, he said Parker said, okay, what's the contradiction with the PSR being false and there being causes and effects? And he goes, well, and then he says blah blah blah, and Parker's like, that's not what a contradiction is. Do you know what a contradiction is? And he goes, A and B, where B is something that is not A. It's not like in quotation marks not, or sorry, not in quotation marks A. He's saying not A in the sense that like, Jesus and Santa Claus. That's A and B.
No. Wait. By any chance, am I slightly smarter than these guys? Because, like, I know what a
Well,
logical
okay.
contradiction is.
What's the okay? Give me the correct rendition of the PSR.
Oh, wait, I don't know
And it
anything
doesn't
about the
have
PSR.
What? It doesn't use cause and effect. It just says a fact. Every fact, either like for every fact there is an explanation for why it exists, rather than not, or why it
It's a
obtained.
sufficient reason as to why, for every formally it's for every X, there is a Y such that Y sufficiently explains
For every
X.
X.
Seer, I'm telling everybody about your debate. It's happening not next Friday. Okay, not the Friday this week, but next week is gonna be OG Kylo's debate, right? And then the week after that, it's gonna be Seer versus Eastano.
Seer, I'm curious. Nobody here's a snitch. What argument are you using exactly?
Oh, it's like some Bayesian confirmation. I can send it to you.
Okay,
like,
Seer, but you.
I'm actually I'm actually learning. I have somebody amping me on it. Like,
Okay, bro,
Yes.
because the last time you ran that argument,
listen.
bro,
Okay.
Bayesian is it like the anthropic argument?
I
Like,
basically asked this motherfucker what he gave me the explanation of the argument, and I'm like, well, what's the hypothesis that's like being compared? Like, what's the meat of the substance? And he's like, well, I don't know. That's just I'm like, nigga, come on.
hold on. Look, can you tell me just to see what you know about Bayesianism? Right, like, what are the axioms?
That's what I'm getting amped on, bro. Like, don't
You
even.
know, so you're doing a Bayesian argument and you don't know anything about
Listen,
Bayesian.
listen, no. listen. I'm doing it for the character development. Okay.
What character development? You're gonna
The
get
char-
fucking like, you're gonna get
No,
cooked.
no, no.
Cease has
no,
been
no.
debating God since he like had TikTok.
You're gonna get absolutely like evaporated by Cease, bro. He
Look,
knows.
is it not some like? It better not be some boring Bayesian argument. It's like, oh well, you know, God is the type of mind that would want to bring about other minds. It better not be some shit like that.
All right, bro. I got you.
It
Better
was
be some
more
like a
of
Matthew
something like-
Edelstein type of argument.
There's something like this meta-ontological view is.
ISO ant me then, bro. If you don't want me to get cooked, bro, ant me on a game.
You gotta help your buddy
Bro,
out.
it's
Why are you
weird.
debating things you don't believe?
No. I'm actually not LARPing, but like I'm LARPing. You feel me?
Well,
You LARPing
he believes
intelligence? What are
in
you
God.
He believes
He
in-
believes in God. He's just using an argument he doesn't know how to run. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's horrible.
But like it's for the character development. Like if I lose, bro, like okay, like I'm a fucking idiot.
If I
lost,
sign
quit.
myself up to go fight John Jones, that's not no fucking character development. That's ass
Listen,
whooping.
I guarantee
Wait,
you,
actually,
after you
wait.
fight John Jones, you'll learn a lot.
Yeah,
look, Cease
low-key that
very
is-
reasonable.
Low-key, that is character development. You're gonna learn something from fighting a
What am I gonna
professional.
learn? I'm gonna learn how to get my ass kicked. That's what I'm gonna.
You're gonna learn like
What?
how he fights,
Look,
and then you
Cease
can
is
get
not
better.
an idiot either. Cease has been debating God, like for a long fucking
ISO,
time.
okay, what argument
Party.
should I run then?
No, I mean this argument might be fine. Just learn how to run it first, man.
Alright, Ben, I'm gonna learn how to run it.
But learn because Cease will know how Bayesianism works. So like learn the Kolmogorov axioms and then
Like learn very basic Bayesian calculus, very basic like what it means for something to make another thing more probable.
Can we actually can everyone invite OG Kylo in here, low-key, so we can...
Yo, do not do that!
Because
Oh
like,
yeah, and Whatnot, by the way, I said was a Thomist, so I thought he was gonna be way, way smarter.
because
yeah, I mean, and I've
set up
seen
what he
him
said.
argue. I've seen him argue against like other people just as like Stitches, and he's not usually that awful. Like he's fairly reasonable. I just don't think he's argued like
He was
this.
bad, bro. He was very bad. He said that that Aquinas uses the PSR in his arguments. And I mean, if you want to interpret the PSR in a certain way, sure, but I don't think Aquinas is really using the PSR in the way that we think about the PSR.
Yo, Seer, block Reason House Media. No, I'm kidding.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
Yo, bro. Yo, gang, if they give me a good debate, you know I'm gonna go debate
No,
that,
don't
right?
do it,
If
don't
it's
do it.
for the rep, gang, I have to.
No, don't do it. Fuck that company.
Bro, if they're offering me like an actual good debate,
Like it's okay. Actually, I don't blame you. If it's like if it's a debate that's gonna draw like 100 viewers, then like okay, sure, yeah.
I'm gonna go catch that,
yeah,
bro.
I
It's
will
not even
too.
gonna be like, it won't even be on no personal shit either. I'll go catch that just for the rep.
Yeah. Look, yeah, like build your of course, like build your portfolio, build your followers, build your brand, and then shoot. When I host a debate with you, everyone's gonna come over.
Yeah, exactly.
No. But yeah, like I used to be part of Reason House Media. It didn't really work out, and like there's a lot of I could give you a lot of reasons for why. Seer asked one of the founders of Reason House Media to define philosophy, and they couldn't define it. They're trying to build a debate company that debates topics like philosophy, theology, and like science, and they can't even define.
He was also a
the content.
judge for my debate, by the way.
Yeah, and he was a judge, and he didn't know how to define philosophy.
Wait, was it that one place you were debating? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, with
Yeah.
56 dragons.
Yo, they were all dumb.
Yeah, all of them are
That,
dumb.
that debate
Yeah.
form, that debate format was dumb.
I literally left that company. They're unprofessional. This thing is like a money grab for them, and like they don't care about the art of debate. Like it's just unprofessional, unqualified
Boy.
judges, and like they don't know what they're
Let Coco
doing.
get a bag, bro.
Yeah, like so that's why I'm gonna do my own thing. And they didn't really respect me. I was like, giving them pointers and tips. I was telling them like, hey, this is what we need to do, and like you guys realize you're competing with a bunch of people who host debates on this app, and they're not trying to say that. They're not trying to hear that shit.
Gotta go.
But yeah. They're not trying to hear that shit. But yeah.
All right, Coco. I'll see you, man.
Hell yeah, I'll be around. I am chilling. What's up, Pai Chi? I need well, okay. Obviously, I'm gonna go live more and get more views. I'm gonna try to invite OG Kylo so we can plan out this debate event. Let me see if he'll come in here.
I wanted to run some stuff by some stuff they were talking about, but they left. So, but how you been? Good.
Yeah, I've been good. I've just been working my job and then, you know, always grinding on like social media and being a part of like some kind of project. But yeah. You always find me amidst some kind of debate or some kind of thing that's happening.
Can't go wrong with grinding.
I'm always in those circles.
Slow, deep, and hard. Have a good night.
Okay, see you around. But yeah, we got 5 people in here. Thank you guys for being here. If any of you guys want to debate me or talk to me, like, let me know. The topic is, well, I'm gonna fix it because now the screen is weird. This is what the topic is. And while I'm waiting for people, I can be working on my to-do list. But yeah, welcome in guys, welcome in. How can I move my camera? Oh, I figured it out. Cause like on my PC, it's a weird setup. My PC has a weird setup right now. It basically shows me what you guys are seeing on your phones, and so I'm trying to organize my layout. Let me know. Wait, hold on, Paichi. I figured it can't be that different neurologically or philosophically from other sensations. What are your thoughts on that? Oh. Socks of Splenda. I think your questions were for like the other conversation. But thank you. You said that looks good. Thank you. I'm putting my camera like right here above the comments. Trying to figure out my layout. And obviously we got a city in the background. I could change the video to like something else, but okay, now I'm gonna try to invite OG Kylo, and then yeah, I'm gonna be working on some stuff while we're waiting. But yeah, I'm gonna work like really hard and make something out of my life. What's up, sir? Sir, I've been debating whether the Gospels are historically reliable, and people are starting to say that I'm your student. Hope that's not weird. That is kind of weird, though. I am nobody's student. I am my own student. But I'm a yeah, exactly. I'm a student of the world. But yeah, I'm just waiting for anybody who is interested to debate me on the topic. Maybe I should change the... Okay, hold on. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change the image. Oh, well. Okay, this was a debate that was happening, but not anymore. Change my background for TikTok. Let's see. Details, date altered. Small icons. Medium icons. Okay. Extra large icons. Okay, I'm changing the topic. Give me 1 sec. see. Okay, I'll just do this one. No. I don't know. Should I do this one? The me fighting Jesus at a Waffle House. Oh wait, hold on. This was a pretty funny joke that I made back in the day. It was like something I made on Canva using AI. It was pretty lit. Back when we had Sora. I'm actually really sad that they got rid of that AI tool. It was very useful. Yeah, this was Star Wars Day back in the day. This was like a graphic that I made as one of my backgrounds. But yeah, darn, my life's not getting pushed out. Maybe I should restart. Like, cause for some reason my live got flagged for like, not original content, which I don't know why it keeps getting flagged for that. But let me see. Notifications, all system, appeal not review, violates. Okay, well, let me do this. Let me try to change it. Settings, change. Fuck. Okay, and now I should probably make a topic. Make a topic. Or maybe I should restart the live so I can see if I can get more people in here. Oh yeah. Okay, let me see if that'll work. I sent a bunch of live shares out, so let's see if that'll work. And then I'm gonna change the topic. Then I'm gonna add a topic. What's up, Luis? How are you? How are you, Luis? But yeah, ask me any question. Ask me any question. Come up if you want to talk. I mean, that would be the perfect time for like 1v1s, because like there's nobody here. But it's fine. I'm getting back into like going live, and it's I'm getting back into going live. I haven't been live in a long time, so like my lives aren't getting pushed out that much. But like once I go live like more frequently, then my lives will get pushed out that much. I just have to be consistent. And I used to be when I was like unemployed, but then like I got employed and things got busy. What up? When will you submit your life to God? Luis, I am open-minded to it. Maybe more open-minded than other atheists. but I'm just not compelled by the evidence to believe that God exists. And yeah, I'm doing my research. Christianity does seem like post hoc to me at times, but I'm doing my research. I'm looking for what makes it real. Like, why do Christians believe that this is real? Like, what's that real factor in Christianity? Like, once I find that, once I find why people believe Christianity to be real, once I find that real factor, then I'll believe in Christianity. But nothing is sticking out to me. Oh, fuck. It's like... like, the image came through, but it's, like, stuck on the side of the screen. Okay, fuck. For display. Oh, there we go. I did it. Okay. Show display. Okay. There we go. So you're 50-50? I think so. I lean towards atheism, but yeah, I'm like 50-50. Or let's say that I'm like... Let's say like I'm like 70-30. I would say I'm 70-30 when it comes to whether Christianity exists. I would say I'm 70-30. And we're trying to figure it out. Because trees and free will and God and the Jesus or whatever, Sephiroth, the God. Wait, actually, Sephiroth. By the way, I am gonna set up your debate with No Degree. So stick around, stay tuned. I'm gonna set up that debate. Sephiroth versus No Degree. But yeah, here, let me see. Medium. And then debate formats, okay. Two choices but yeah, like I am currently setting up debates and trying to see knocking them down and basically getting back into hosting major debate events. But Luis, are you 100% believing in the Christian God? You 100%, like, you are dead sure that he exists, that he's real? Debate, Jesus, login information, social media overview, 2016 plans. You 100% believe the Christian God exists? You have no questions in your mind that the Christian God exists? Okay, so it's not this Friday. So see. August 28th. Okay. So for that debate, I asked for, are we going to do it here or on your new page? We're going to do it here, but I'm going to post like all of the clips and the promo videos on that new page. And, you know, my other social media accounts. So I made that new page for like debate clips. Maybe if people request for certain clips, I can post it there and they can like get it if they want. It's just a new page to like sort of boost getting eyes on my debate events, basically. But yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, insert page break. Okay, let's see. Okay, so basically I'm planning the next debate event. I'm like in a doc right now. Basically it's like setting it up. But yeah, if you guys can, yeah, tap your screens, like the live, share with anybody who you think might be interested. There's 2 people in here, and yeah, we're just waiting for some opposition. And like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I do. So they're gonna be on the 28th, then Friday, September 4th. What, in your opinion, is a good argument for and against the existence of God? I think for the existence of God, I would say like any Christian that's arguing like the ancient so I think when it comes to the Bible, like the Bible was written by ancient people, right? And they used many different like literary devices. And I think one of the best arguments for Christianity is like looking at context and trying to understand what the ancient people were trying to say. I think a lot of atheists on this app read the Bible cover to cover and just read the words on the page, and then they argue that. But when a Christian knows like the Hebrew and the context, I often see them beating atheists in debates. Now, the best argument for atheism, admittedly, is more than the arguments I find for Christianity. Fine-tuning gets smashed, in my opinion. Like, it's not a good argument, and there's good atheist counters to it. Arguments against, like, the Gospels, you know, I think are very good arguments. Bible contradictions are very good arguments. The problem of evil is a very good argument. Divine hiddenness is a very good argument. So, like, there's a lot of reasons not to believe in the Christian God, a lot of arguments for atheism. But for Christianity, the only thing really is just the ancient context. And there's also Platinga's transworld depravity concept, which is supposed to be a response to the problem of evil. I'm probably going to do a really bad job of representing it, but yeah, Alvin Platinga's transworld depravity concept is a very good response to the problem of evil. Like, what if it's the case that, like, it's not necessarily logically possible that God creates a world where humans end up like, what if God imagines an infinite amount of worlds and is just inevitable by no logical necessity that, like, humans end up committing sin? That's essentially what Alvin Platinga's argument is. And once someone presents that, they ask their opponent, is it logically possible that, like, God could have thought of infinite worlds, and not by necessity, it's just the case that humans sin in every single world. And yeah, if you can't come up with a logical contradiction for that, then Alvin Platinga's transworld depravity concept stands through, and it becomes a very good rebuttal to the problem of evil, and sort of establishes that, like, evil is something that exists. Not necessarily, like, it's not necessary, but it's inevitably. Like, yeah, it argues for evil existing inevitably. So, Cocomania 9. Okay, so Cocomania. the underdog. Cookamania 10. When the underdogs try again. But hey, there's 5 people in here. Thank you guys for being here. You guys could be anywhere, but you guys are choosing to be here. Good to see you, Mitch the Scientist, Thought Flow, Zebra 3000, Al Pacino. I'm pretty sure I can say that on TikTok. And Sephiroth the God. I'm pretty sure you're here too. Yep, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. For some reason, TikTok's not pushing out my live. It says I have unoriginal content. I don't know why that's the case. But I'll restart the live and see if that helps. I mean, okay, should I try that? Will you guys come back if I restart the live? All 5 of you, comment below. If I restart the live, will you guys come back? And basically, I'm setting up debates. Oh, also, by the way, Sephiroth the God, ask No Degree what he wants to debate you on. Like, what topic does he want to debate you on? And yeah, let me get that topic. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna restart the live. Everybody count to 10. I'm gonna count to 10, and then I'm going to restart, and everyone just come back. So that's what we're gonna do, so we can see if we can get this live poppin'. So I will see you guys in 10 seconds. Okay. One Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Well, yeah, what's up? I got someone. What's up, Craig?
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm like making plans for future debate events that I'm gonna host.
Oh, cool. Do you host them here, or do you do it on YouTube, or where do you do it?
I do it on TikTok. So
Okay.
I host debates with I've hosted debates with over like 50 different content creators.
Oh wow.
And like some 2 of them were PhD professors.
Sweet.
And yeah, I
That's
guess
awesome.
I'm getting back into it. I stopped for a
Cool.
little bit.
Do you have them on your TikTok page, like any of the debates? I would like
Um,
to check them out.
If you watch some of them, you can see them, but a lot of them are on YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube, oh, and you got the same handle.
Yeah.
Okay.
On YouTube, it might be Mr_co_CO3.
Mr. Co. I'm on YouTube right now. CO3.
You should be able to find me. I'm the Controversial Compass.
Oh yeah, I see you. Oh, cool.
I'm actually
Nice, man.
live right now on YouTube. So
Oh, okay, okay, nice, man. I'm gonna just give you. Can I subscribe? Yeah, there we go. I just subscribed to you. I'll check these out. So you just host. You don't do you do any of the debating, or you just mostly do the hosting?
yeah, I'm like sort of on a journey to become like a really good debater, and like I've lost my fair share of debates, especially like recently. But yeah, I'm gonna be debating in the future. There's one person that I'm preparing to debate, named Marcus, and we're gonna be debating on, are the Gospels historically reliable? And I've been like debating that topic to death. But yeah, like I'd be
Okay.
happy to talk to you about that specific topic.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm a Christian, but I'm cool if you want to try to run some stuff by me, and maybe I can give you some counter arguments, and maybe it'll help you a little bit.
Okay. 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 So for one, I guess it's going to be somewhat related, but I guess I'll ask you like a question. So, do you believe that like Mark was writing for Peter essentially?
Was Mark writing for Peter? I don't know about that. I sorry.
I know you're totally good.
I've not looked into that specifically.
Oh, okay. I have in my notes that like Matthew and John are going to be like first-hand accounts, and then like Mark is like Mark basically writing what Peter was saying, possibly in like areas where like Peter was giving like a sermon, and Mark would like write down what he said in the sermon. Did you start a new one? What happened? Yes, Clover. I started a new live because TikTok's not pushing out my live. I think they're gonna push it out now, and I don't have any like warnings on it. But okay, yeah, and yeah. So basically, I've been doing research on like biblical scholarship, like the details surrounding the resurrection. I wouldn't say that I'm atheist. I would say I'm agnostic. Like I'm open-minded, right? Like if I do all this research into Christianity and like it ends up being true and it's real and it all like works out, like I've told people like I would happily be a Christian. So I have been studying the resurrection, trying to see if like, hey, like, is it remarkable? Is it something that is true? Is there actually some kind of divinity behind this? And I mean, I could probably look into like more scholars. I've been like clinging for dear life onto like Bart Ehrman and like watching his debates, but like I could look into Christian scholars. Admittedly, I'm looking into like atheist scholars, but yeah, like the first thing I was going to talk about is like it seems as if if Mark was writing for Peter, there's a lot of embarrassing things that Mark writes that no other gospels really write, right? Mark talks about how Jesus called Peter Satan, right? Jesus utters the lines like, "Get away from
Get
me,
behind
Satan."
me, Satan. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, if Mark is writing on behalf of Peter, why would Peter admit that like God called him Satan?
That's a good point. Yeah.
And like, why doesn't no other gospel like discuss
Some
this?
credibility to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it's a lot of things like that, right? Like, Mark is going to be your earliest gospel, and it's dated like 70 AD. Some people are reading new studies that are saying that Matthew might have been dated earlier than Mark, but those are like new things, and I have to like look into that. But typically the order is Mark, Matthew, Luke, and then John is going to be the final gospel. And like what I tend to notice is that a lot of things are like kind of unsubstantiated. Like Matthew is the only gospel to talk about King Herod sending soldiers to unalive all the firstborns in Jerusalem to prevent Jesus from being born. No other gospel writes about it, and like no other, like nobody outside of the gospels even mentions it. No other book in the Bible even talks about like Herod sending any soldiers to unalive firstborns. And like I took some notes on like some of the closest writers to King Herod, and even they don't really write about, they write about a lot of things, like King Herod doing a lot of stuff, but they don't write about King Herod unaliving firstborns. So the only account we have of King Herod sending soldiers to unalive firstborns would be Matthew, so this is just like an unsubstantiated event. And then, so I don't know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I like your thoughts on is that a criterion of embarrassment, where someone is writing embarrassing details, and that would give it more weight. So I like your kind of thinking through that. And then you've got some questions that sounds like about the Herod thing. So is your position that in some places the Gospels are credible and in some places they're not, or what is your kind of thought process in finding some things that are interesting and and could be pointing to truth, and other things that maybe just stand alone and there's no corroboration for?
Yeah, so I think I take like Bart Ehrman's position, which is
Okay.
that there are some things that we can take from the Gospels that are historically reliable, right? Like there was a man named Jesus that existed, and like he was crucified.
Yep.
And yeah, there's some basic things that like a majority of scholars like agree on, and it's like, yeah, someone named Jesus definitely existed and was preaching some kind of narrative during this time. It's highly likely. There is a community of people who believe Jesus didn't exist. They're called like mythicists, but like they're the minority of biblical scholars. Like
Yeah,
one
very
or
much
two.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Bart Ehrman holds that there's some historical data we can get from the Bible, but from the Gospel specifically, but a majority of the Gospels are probably going to be like information that can't be verified or is not historically verifiable or accurate. So it's more so that the Gospels are historically unreliable because a majority of it is unverifiable or like accurate.
When you say a majority, kind of how are you going about thinking through that? Because there's a lot of different ways to, look at it. Like, I would say Peter and like James are people that are like written about like from other sources, or like, like I think Josephus mentions James, and then like Clement mentions Peter. Paul, of course, mentions many of the people in the Gospels as well. So, how do you, like, what are you kind of, those are just names, right? So, there's a lot more than just names. And then there's also places as well that are also, verified as well. So, like, where are you determining, like, hey, there's some truth here, but there's a lot of things that aren't true, so therefore they're unreliable?
Yeah, so that's actually a very good question. So, it's actually a very good question. Like, whenever I say that there's more things wrong than things that are right, I think, like, yeah, there are, like, a lot of people that the Gospels mention that actually existed. And obviously the Gospels talk about places that actually existed. But I guess, like, I don't know, my mind is thinking more so in, like, an event type of thing. Like, are the Gospels telling, like, some kind of historical narrative where certain events actually occurred? And I think that the Gospels are not historically reliable in the sense of, like, they're giving us reliable data telling us that certain events, like, occurred. So, like, when I look at the Gospels, Mark starts us off and he gives us all the information he can from Peter. And then Matthew is going to be our first-hand account, and he starts adding stuff to the narrative, right? Adding stuff to what Mark is saying, like King Herod sending soldiers to unalive all firstborns. And also, Matthew writes about, like, an eclipse happening and people rising out of their graves to greet people all over Jerusalem. And nobody writes about this. Nobody documents this. Nobody can second it. No other gospel seconds it, and no other outside sources second it. But, I mean, NASA confirms that there was an eclipse on that day that Matthew is talking about, so there's that.
Right,
But-
yeah.
But then, yeah, like Matthew has like stuff that it adds that is unverifiable, and then like Luke, I think tells like a completely different birth narrative. Matthew talks about King Herod, this, that, and like Mary and Joseph escape to Egypt, stay in Egypt, and then get to Jerusalem, after months of waiting for King Herod and the ruler after him to disappear. Then Luke talks about a census that does not happen under King Herod, but happens under Quirinius, and Joseph and Mary spend like 40 days in Jerusalem, 40 days somewhere, and then they go to Jerusalem. So like Luke is saying that they spent 40 days somewhere and went to Jerusalem, while Matthew is saying they spent months in Egypt and then went to Jerusalem. And then, Luke talks about a census that King Herod, Governor Quirinius did, where everybody had to return to their place of origin by tracing their lineage back 1,000 years, because Joseph and Mary had to go to Jerusalem Joseph and Mary had to go to, but I have to look at my notes. But like Joseph.
Well, while you're,
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
Oh.
if you want to finish your point.
Oh wait, hold on, let me find it. Oh, but go ahead and say what you were gonna say.
Yeah, so I'm just looking up because I'll admit I'm a little out of my depth with some of this. Like I could get pretty like if you were at all interested in talking about the historical events after after the death of Christ, I feel very confident there. But some of these other things like the King Herod stuff, I'm just kind of like looking up as we're speaking, and some of the things I'm seeing here is saying like historical and extra-biblical record. It's like silence of Josephus, and again, this is about the Herod point that you mentioned. It says first century historian, Josephus, who documented Herod's life, does not mention the children part. And then it's saying, while Josephus doesn't mention it himself, historians agree that such acts completely align with Herod's known character. Herod was notoriously paranoid, brutal, and then it kind of goes down to like the demographic scale, and it's saying like Bethlehem in the first century, very small village. The amount of children under the age of 2 at any given time was relatively small, like maybe like 10 to 20 children. So that may not have been like a big event if it's like such a small town. And then it's saying, though, like the critical view many scholars regard the account of Matthew as theological narrative modeled after an Old Testament story of Pharaoh, kind of your point. And then it's saying the traditional historical view is that other scholars and historians argue that the event is plausible given Herod's documented cruelty. So it seems like, you kind of take it one way or the other. It's maybe not totally like some random like impossibility, but it isn't like we've got all these extra biblical accounts. However, we know the guy was pretty brutal, so it's not like wouldn't be totally out of his character. But it wouldn't be unrealistic to like go with what you're saying, I think, as well.
Yeah, and actually, I was in a debate and I was debating this, and that's what the person who was debating against me said. Like, so I basically asked them the question, hey, Flavius Josephus, he writes about King Herod's life. Does he mention anything about like unaliving the firstborns? And he doesn't. But Flavius Josephus writes about how King Herod was very violent, and King Herod was known for killing members of his own family, executing like several of his sons because he suspected they were plotting against him, executions of political opponents, and like he just had a reputation for like extreme paranoia and violence, and he ordered Jewish leaders to be killed around him around the time of his own death. But Josephus never mentions like him unaliving the firstborn. So is it likely that like King Herod could have done this? I mean, like given what Josephus writes, like yeah, this guy's a psychopath. He's like a psychopathic killer. Like this could have happened.
Yeah, sure.
But we just can't really like verify that it happened. But yeah, that's the same point that was brought up in a debate. So that's actually a good point. It's likely that this could have happened.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And some of this is, conjecture, of course, but it doesn't seem like it's out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
So I think you've kind of come to it yourself, but if you argue that, it might just come down to like, well, it's not documented, but it's plausible, and then like, how far do you really get with that?
Yeah, and also like another person that writes about like King Herod is Nicholas of Damascus, who was known to be like a close friend of King Herod, but even he doesn't write about any like mass unaliving of like infants. So it's a bit like
well, and I'm seeing here, like I said, I'm just pulling it up on the fly here, but it's saying that again, like Bethlehem was a very small village.
Oh, so it'd be like 20 or 30 infants, probably.
Yeah, it's saying historians estimate the number of male infants under the age of 2 at any given time would be relatively small, and then this is roughly 10 to 20 children. So 20 to 30 is close enough. So the question would be like, would that be like a major thing to mention? Like, obviously it should, because that's terrible. But maybe that was like, back then not that huge of a deal. I don't know.
Yeah. Here, I'm responding to a YouTube comment. Someone commented, "Sorry, but Jesus is God and God is real." Like, I'm just gonna respond with something funny.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't think. But okay, I'm gonna write that down in my notes. Like, population of Jerusalem during the time,
Yep, Bethlehem.
or Bethlehem. Yeah.
Yeah. So, population of Bethlehem, first century, very small village, with estimated population of a few hundred people. Historians estimate small number of male infants under the age of 2 at any given time would be relatively small, anywhere from like 10 to 20. But 30. If your sources say 30, I think that's good enough.
Let's see. Look into population of infants in Bethlehem during
First century.
King Herod /
Yeah.
first. Okay, first century. But yeah. So it's like unsubstantiated, but yeah,
Yeah.
like it's likely, yeah.
Yeah, fair
And-
enough.
And so okay, so you have Mark, and Mark is getting his information from Peter, and he writes everything that he writes, and then you get Matthew. Matthew adds like these details, and like it is what it is. So yeah, another thing is like only Matthew and nobody outside of the Bible talks about like people raising from the grave, like saints
Right.
raising from the grave and shaking hands with people all over Bethlehem. So there's that.
Yeah, my only thing on that is, and I'm not good at this, like, at all. I've just heard this argument, and I'll look up it now, so it's not like I'm just throwing something random at you that you have to, like, go check into. But I've heard that some people view that as a prophecy rather than a historical event. So, like, at the end times, the idea is that, our bodies will be raised. And so that would be not necessarily like a literal historical claim, but more of like a theological claim that's being made. Now, here's the thing. From what I've looked into, I don't think that is the best explanation, but I've heard some Christians make that argument. I think what Matthew's actually writing is a historical event, but I want to look into that right now while we're talking, just so if it is something to contend with, you can, but if it's not, then you can just skip it if somebody brings it up.
Oh, okay. But yeah, and then all of this stuff I'm looking through, and I need to make like a full-on doc for my future debate with somebody on this topic.
What about I know Bart Ehrman holds to this, but skipping ahead a little bit to the events that took place after the crucifixion, like his followers being convinced that he saw the risen Christ, like the skeptic James being converted. We can go through them one by one, but just to kind of lay them all out, they would be like the conversion of Paul as an enemy of Christians, and then things like, and this is less consensus, but like an empty tomb. There's about a 75% consensus on the empty tomb. So I don't know if you want to tackle all those or one at a time, but I know Bart Ehrman. Bart Ehrman doesn't believe in the empty tomb, but he does say that his followers were genuinely convinced, historically speaking, that they saw the risen Christ.
Yeah, I think like I would hold to the same thing. I would say like his followers were convinced that Jesus rose from the dead. But as like in regards to the reasons why they were convinced, that's a blank spot for me, because I don't think Jesus necessarily rose from the dead. So like with the empty tombs, like they say that what's his name, Joseph of Arimathea, I think bought, like he was really rich guy, he bought this tomb and he said he was going to put the body inside of the tomb. But I'm pretty sure we have like 4 different like tomb locations. We don't even have like an exact tomb location. We have like 4 different ones.
Yeah, I think it's 3 different ones. And yeah, it's that is contested of kind of the minimal facts. That is one of the contested ones. Like I said, it's about a 75% consensus, and even there's a couple Christians like Mike Lycona, who's a scholar. He believes in the resurrection. He doesn't think there's enough evidence for an empty tomb, but there still is. So it is debated, but it's still like it seems to be more of the kind of the popular belief among scholars that there actually was in fact an empty tomb. But yeah, there's three options of where the tomb exactly is located, but I know there's one that kind of most of them agree upon. I can look it up. I don't know it right offhand.
Oh, so Joseph of Arimathea, he owned a new unused tomb. He previously carved and hewn out the rock in a garden near the site of the crucifixion. Okay. But yeah, with the tomb, that's a bit shaky. And then I would say, like, I do have a contradiction in regards to, like, when the appearances start happening. But that's, like, another thing. So...
But you do believe it's a matter of like historical record that there were followers of his that were genuinely convinced that they saw the risen Christ. I think Bart Ehrman, I mean, not to pigeonhole you to Bart, but I think Bart would even say that. Like, he would say Peter for sure, James for sure, I think 11 disciples in like a group setting. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure how I feel about it, but like typically like in an argument I'd probably like grant it. I would say like, yeah, there are people who are like genuinely convinced, because I mean like they were martyred like for their religion. So yeah.
So does that make the Gospels reliable if that is a true event that took place?
I mean it's probability
or not fully reliable, but like does that give some credence to the reliabilities?
I think like it's like probability raising slightly, but also at the same time like there were people who like there were also like a lot of cults in America, right, that existed where the leader supposedly did some miracles and people were willing to like die for what they saw, and then come to find out that like their leader didn't actually do miracles.
Okay.
And there were like
what are some examples of that?
Like Jonestown, there are people who were recorded saying that like the leader of that cult was doing like miracles, and then all of them drank cyanide and like self-unalived later on. And then like Heaven's Gate was talking about like miracles and stuff, and like they were the ones that I think were wearing like the black Nike shoes.
Yeah, they were.
They all ended up taking their own life and unaliving as well. And then like there are many other cults that claim to see miracles, claim that this is the next coming of God, and unalive themselves. So it's possible, like, I guess they had an experience, they were convinced that they saw Jesus post-death and resurrection. I mean, it could be the case that Jesus rose from the dead, and the fact that they chose to be martyred is probability raising, but it could also be the case that they're mistaken. And there's something else that's going on here. Just like cults. Cult members are mistaken and take their lives for different causes.
Yeah. My thing with the miracle idea is, so if we were to like, grant some of it where like, okay, these disciples were seeing miracles of Jesus in his life, like turning water into wine, walking on water, like those sorts of things, like feeding the 5,000. So they had seen the miracles, and then when Jesus died, they didn't. There's another one of these kind of historical facts is that his followers went from dejected to then like inspired after between his death and then his supposed resurrection. And if they were like, hey, we saw this guy do a bunch of miracles, then you would think that they wouldn't have that dejected, feeling once he died. They'd like continue going on and being like, hey, this guy went about and turned water into wine and all these sorts of things. But they didn't. They like went immediately to like dejection. And then all of a sudden they're like, we saw the risen Christ, and then they went out to their deaths. Like the Jonestown thing, it's like they saw supposedly these miracles, and then they had like boldness in what they did. Like the the disciples actually didn't have boldness because they saw their leader crucified, and then all of a sudden, like, they became emboldened. And so I don't know if that's a difference. And I know people will see things and believe things that are false. I'd have to look into the Jonestown accounts specifically to see if this is like a apples to apples kind of comparison. But I'm just thinking, like, what are the chances that these people, like, in individual settings and then in group settings, are all like hallucinating Jesus? Like, you know, that would be a pretty strong kind of like delusion, and never to like kind of like recant on that. You would think at some point, like in my mind, some point someone would like kind of come to their senses and be like, you know what, actually that wasn't a delusion. Like,
I wouldn't.
I don't know.
I wouldn't hold to like mass delusion or like mass like hallucination. I think it's unlikely.
Okay.
But yeah, but I actually, like, you do have a point. Like, they, like, after Jesus got crucified, like, basically, like, these people were going into hiding. They were in like like rooms, right? They were like hiding away because they were like, they're gonna kill the rest of us. Like, they're gonna get all the other Christians, right? And then like, then they kind of had this like revitalized energy, and then Christianity starts like being spread all over the world, basically. So yeah, I think to some extent that's like a good point, but like I don't really know the reason for that, so I don't have like any response to that. But.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think if there was, like, maybe something to look into is the validity of the empty tomb, because if there was, I know you said you don't believe in a hallucination, but if there was something that happened to these disciples that invigorated them to go out to their death, believing that they had seen Jesus walk around, how would that explain like an empty tomb? Because they wouldn't have gone and tried to themselves like move the tomb, because they would have already been believing. And so, like, what would account for that? Now, you're saying you think that's shaky, and I don't think that's totally unreasonable for you to say, but I think that might be something worth looking into and coming to a conclusion on. Because if you are convinced of an empty tomb, then that's like, then there's two separate things happening. There's people that are claiming that they saw the risen Christ, and then separate to that, there's an empty tomb, and what would be the explanation for that? Like, does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true. So yeah, I do need to look into that, like the empty tomb, and like, can we verify it? And
right. Yeah.
What's up? Oh, holy shit! You, Craig?
Who's that?
It's Jaden. I went by a different username, but we talked a while back about infinite regress.
Oh, I don't remember that. Okay.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. But I did want to talk a little bit on the empty tomb talk. So, to be fair to me, right, it seems to be that the empty tomb argument, you just want to saying, well, there's an empty tomb, so there's never a body. Which I don't quite understand. It would be for an issue if I were to say, okay, I'm fine with granting Jesus existed as a historical person. The tomb is empty, but it's empty due to the fact that his body decomposed, right? Because we're dealing with something that's 2,000 years old. So it seems intuitively the case that, well, if there is a tomb that Jesus was in, it's absolutely going to be empty. So it seems almost useless to me.
Well, it depends, like, when they found the tomb, and,
right?
Like when it was empty. Like a body can't decompose like that fast. So, like, let's say.
Well, body decomposing takes what, about a week?
Yeah, but like, let's say like.
Doesn't take insanely long, and we're dealing with a 2,000-year-old case, right? I would be beyond amazed if we could find any form of information that suggests that we, one, have certified that this is Jesus' tomb, and two, that we can conclude that his body was only in there for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. So, like, let's say they found the tomb and it was like 3 days after, and the body had already decomposed. I mean, that'd be like highly unlikely. But also, like, we have to verify, like, that the tomb was empty. We have the actual tomb, and like this is what it was. But yeah, no, all those things are correct.
And I mean, like, personally, this is my own ignorance here. I wouldn't even know how they would go about identifying such a thing, right? Like, like, when it comes to tombs, right, it doesn't even seem, it wouldn't, like, even the idea of Jesus being put in a tomb isn't likely, right? Like, it's historically unlikely with the way Romans did things.
Yeah, group
Now,
burials into dug graves. They would just throw like multiple bodies into graves.
Yeah,
I guess
they would. The two things that Romans would typically do when they would crucify someone, because it was humiliating, right? That was the whole point of it. They would either leave them on the cross for some days and eventually throw them into a pit of just other bodies, right? And the same thing would happen just sometimes without them being stuck on the cross for long enough, right? Those are typically the two things that we do see that the Romans did, right? There's only, I'm pretty sure Jewish people did it a little differently, though. I'm pretty sure they're the ones who would put people in tombs, right? I don't know, they went through like the same crucifixion process, but Jewish people, at least up to my knowledge, were the ones who would put the bodies in tombs. And I may be wrong on that, but...
So I have a couple thoughts on this. Host, you and I were talking. You were mentioning earlier that Peter was kind of dictating to Mark what was being written, and if Mark mentions an empty tomb, then that would have been Peter dictating that, and Peter would have been probably a witness. So the question that you guys are asking, like, how would you like verify this? Would that be an answer to that question, that Peter would have been somebody that could have verified it?
So I don't know how the scholarship goes about this, but there is some pretty heavy topics on who Mark could have actually been. Some people believe that Mark was just Marcion, right? I don't know the line of reasoning for that, but some people will take that view. I'm pretty sure it's something to do with like maybe some similarities between the two or something of that nature. And then the view of Mark getting like instructions from Peter, I would have struggled believing that due to the fact that I don't think we have a dating on when Peter was around, right? We only have an estimate of when these Gospels came around, and there isn't necessarily certification of who these people were to begin with. So I would need very, very specific evidence for me to even think that.
Well, I think a couple things. The Marcion, I think, is more of a mythicist position. I don't know if you hold to mythicism or not, but
that's where you'll typically hear it. I don't hold to it. I think it's an okay position. A lot of the rejections do make some sense, but I mean, the amount of evidence that I would say that we have for Jesus would be enough to at least say that he was a person. I mean, it's not great evidence, right? Like, I don't think anybody's going to sit there and say, this is great evidence for historical Jesus. That would just be dumb. But it seems to be the case that, if anything, the only way for Christianity to truly make sense is if there's at least a guy named Jesus. Besides that, I couldn't think of any way to make sense of this by any means.
Yeah, I mean, I think the evidence is pretty strong for a historical Jesus and even a crucifixion. And I think and the host and I were kind of agreeing on that before, and he's kind of a non-resistant non-believer. I'm a Christian. But I think most of, not to appeal to consensus or something, but most of the weight of scholarship would be in that favor as well. Not just the Christian scholars, but the secular scholars as well, that Jesus was real and he was crucified. We can kind of know those things about him. So then from there, it's like, okay, going back to this empty tomb thing, and the host agreed, or, and he brought it up, and I actually had to look it up myself, if Mark is being dictated by Peter, and Peter is, again, an eyewitness to not only Jesus, of course, but also to an empty tomb, that could somewhat make it clear. And then the idea of we don't know when Peter existed. I think Peter is pretty strongly confirmed in the letters of Paul, who's writing in the 50s AD, and then you've also got like
Well, I
Clement
mean,
is writing about him too.
I'm one who I'm not mythicist about Paul or Jesus, but I think intuitively my issue there would just be that I don't have any reason to think Jesus would have been put in a tomb to begin with. Like historically, we have no reason to believe this. Now, the way that the Bible or some people like to argue is that there was a guy, I'm blanking on his name. It was a rich man, right, that offered up his tomb
Joseph
to
of
Jesus.
Arimathea.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that is typically when events like that would take place is that there would be some level of writing done with that, or what's even truly weirder about it is I don't quite understand the Bible storyline anymore if that's true, right? Because the way the Bible is wanting to present Jesus' death and resurrection, he was a hated man, right? He was the Jewish people hated him, everybody hated him, right? And I would find it very odd for just one singular person all of a sudden with like no confirmation of their existence to just be like, here, you can have my tomb.
Well, my question would be to that would be like, look, if the guy paid for it, like, are the Romans just like, hey, if someone's got like money talks type thing, like if someone's paying for this thing, like we don't care who it is, as long as we get money for it, we'll allow it, And if you want to have your dead, Jewish guy thrown into this tomb, like as long as money talks, like we'll take it. Like I think that's
Well,
I don't think that's yeah.
What's more interesting about it is that it seems to almost immediately contradict the story of the Roman soldiers being there, right? Because why would Roman soldiers be guarding a tomb that was given to a Jewish person, right? Because that just seems out of the ordinary for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. That's a great question. I'd have to look that one up, and maybe I will right now because that is a good question. The only thing that I could think of again is like money talks. If Joseph of Arimathea was like, "Hey, this guy had a big following. You guys may disregard him and don't care about him, but I don't want any riffraff happening, so I'm going to pay for Roman guards." Now, maybe that's a dumb idea. I don't really know. I got to look into that because that's a good question.
I mean, so do I, right? Like, I'm very ignorant on this topic, which is why I don't typically engage with it. But at least from my understanding, it seems very unlikely that that Jesus would have been put in a tomb to begin with, right? And the biggest struggle or biggest critique that you can give of the idea of the guy giving it to him is, one, I couldn't quite understand what a Roman soldier is doing near a Jewish tomb, and two, I couldn't quite understand, well, there's actually another one. Two, I couldn't quite understand why the Romans wouldn't have written anything about this, right? Because we have nothing from any Roman documents that we have that say anything about this. And what we know from the Romans is that they were really, really in depth about writing down everything, right? And then the third thing I would give is that we don't really have any evidence to support that this guy truly existed, right? We don't have anything outside of the Bible to say that this guy existed.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at. I put in. I'm not putting any like Christian apologetic. I'm just simply putting in like, what about Romans guarding the tomb? Is that likely? And I'll just give you the final like summary at the end. It says majority of critical scholars and historians conclude that Roman military guard at the tomb is historically unlikely and best understood as an early defense narrative response to an accusation of body theft. So like I'll give you that. Like I'm not here to like just debate Christianity and take a side. Like I want to know what's true. So you brought up a good point, and what I looked up is that Matthew is the only account that mentions the guards. None of the other gospels do it. So is Matthew putting it in there?
Where it's most Matthew seems to, at least, so I'm one who gives the gospels a lot more credit than what most people do, but Matthew seems to be dealing with he's dealing with something, right? Like he's wanting to maybe fulfill some prophecies. He's wanting to do something with the end of the story, right? He's adding details that none of the other gospels are really, really saying anything about. Like, for instance, when he speaks about the dead people coming out of the tombs, he seems to be trying to get some kind of, like, maybe a prophecy fulfilled, or there's some symbolism that's going on there. I wouldn't take it to be likely that he meant that literally. It could be the case, but I mean, Matthew, he's an oddball compared to the rest of the Gospels, and two of the main reasons is that one, he's putting stuff in there that none of the Gospels mention, none of the other ones mention, and two, it seems to be that he's looking at Mark specifically. Like, there's multitude of examples where he's fixing Mark's mistakes, or he's just fixing up some stories in Mark, right? A good example would be when Jesus called that woman a dog. You'll notice within that story, it's originally in Mark, but we find it in Matthew as well, but there's a few changes there. Like, he changes what Jesus says. At the end, in Matthew, he says, "Woman, you have shown great faith," while in Mark, he just says, "You may go now," or something like that. I'm not reading it off verbatim, but it's almost as if he's trying to either fix things in Mark and adding his own details that for some reason are there. I have no idea why, but he just seems out of the ordinary.
Yeah, here's a question that I would have to you. So, like, let's just like grant all of these inconsistencies and discrepancies. Does this come to you as like, hey, this is all just like invalid, or is any part of this basically like, look, the main parts are there, that these writers were saying that Jesus was a great moral teacher who was proving himself to be God.
So.
Sorry, my battery went out. 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry. Do you mind if I just finish this real quick? Like.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm talking a lot.
Yeah. So no worries. So the idea would be that okay, there's some discrepancies here, but kind of the main thing is, yeah, Jesus was, a leader, ultimately like the Messiah, rose from the dead, all these sorts of things. Like again, if two people are witnessing like a crime and one person says, well, the car was like red, and another guy's like, the car was like pink or something like that. It's like the main thing is that, there was a crime that took place and there was a guy in the car, and so does it make it so it's not so like, hey, we just throw this whole thing out? It's just a couple of details.
It really comes down to, because that's a typical analogy that a lot of apologists will give for contradictions and inconsistencies. But the biggest issue is they're no longer treating the gospel as if it's a historical text, right? There's a certain methodology when we go through historical texts. I couldn't tell you the methodology, but by at least the little bit of understanding that I have of it is that we're kind of looking to see how much this story is consistent, right? And if we're noticing that they're missing and adding details to this story, it doesn't seem to be motivated. Some of them definitely do, right? Like, for instance, John, I'm pretty sure it is, Jesus says it is finished, right? And throughout the story of John is trying to depict Jesus as the lost sheep, right? And so he seems to be putting that in there to say that the lost sheep and the divinity and everything, that's the final word, right? Everything that needed to be completed is done. And they seem to have motivations for adding and removing these details. So they can all agree that Jesus resurrected, right? But if we're noticing that they're adding and removing details, it's making it a lot harder to believe this story. Because now we have, in a sense, a reveal that these authors are very biased to their own views. So it seems to take a very big hit at the story of Jesus, especially when they're getting such little details so far different from one another, right?
Well, what is it is finished? Like, how does that throw off like the narrative and all that jazz? Like, to me, that doesn't.
It would throw off a narrative because, as I said, John is constantly trying to depict Jesus as the lost sheep, right? And
like, what do you mean the lost? You mean like a shepherd?
Lost sheep, as in basically the savior of Israel, right? He is, when they make reference to the lost sheep, it's typically about Israel, right? And Jesus is trying to bring those people back. So Jesus is a shepherd trying to get the lost sheep. So what I think the motivation that we could see in that, just from how John seems to be wanting to depict Jesus, it seems to be when John puts in Jesus said,